Salvete omnes, salvete amici, nomen mihi est decumus Aurelius Ingeniarius, legatus pro praetori Australiae et tribunus plebis. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Roman Twitch channel right here on Twitch, brought to you by Nova Roma. I am Decumus Aurelius, broadcasting live from the east coast of Provincia, Australia. It is now 7:30 p.m, 7:35 p.m. local time, Australian Eastern Daylight, or about 10:30 a.m. Rome time, and that is applicable right across the world from wherever you're watching us. First of all, we need to thank Jortanos, actually one of our senators of Nova Roma, Titus Dominicus Draco, for the 5 gifted subs. He has already donated in channel, so if you've received a gifted sub already this evening, please send him a gratias in chat for that generous donation that you've now received, receiving your sub status, but also the donations that go to Nova Roma, helping us to organise Roman activities right across not only Australia and New Zealand, but also right around the globe, providing Roman education and scholarships. So please, if you'd like to donate, you can certainly do that through subscriptions, bit cheers, and direct donations. Have a look in the About section below, and on YouTube, you can also look in the description as well to find out more about Nova Roma through our website, novaroma.org. Well, here we are at the 10th session of the Republic of Rome board game broadcast for this year, 2021. How exciting. We are well into the Middle Republic now with our 6 factions, all biting to become the most influential, the most popular. As we have usually been doing, we ended last turn at the end of the forum phase, so we'll commence this turn at the start of the population phase and then move very quickly into the Senate, where we'll see lots more activities to occur. There's lots of event cards being considered, lots of concessions that'll have to come out, and of course the wealth of wars that they will need to continue to fight. There's currently 3 active wars on the books right now, so fingers crossed they can strike a few more of those off, noting that the Second Punic War is also still there, causing them some havoc. Lots of vetoes and tribunes last week as well. So let's not delay any further. Let's see how they will do tonight in our grandiose 10th session. That's a big X, Latin X for number 10. We're going to transition now. Don't go away. We'll be 30 seconds or so, and then we'll come back into the Roll20 virtual tabletop environment, and we'll get to see all our senators. Don't go away. We'll be... Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now live in the Roll20 virtual tabletop environment, where we have reproduced the Valley Games edition to our own liking and setup, and you can see the 6-player areas around here, and of course, to my virtual left, all of our senators representing each of our factions. So if I kindly ask all of our senators to do a bit of a sound check and say, Salvete!
Salvete!
All right, good. I'm seeing some green and yellow bars here for audio, so that's always a good news. Perfect, and it looks like chat is responding accordingly. Okay, we are now at the start of the population phase. We know what we're doing. We have our cheat sheets in front of us, both available from the Board Game Geek website and also through our own individual Facebook group. So let's kick off reading the population phase, Valley Games Rule 1.08. We're going to do unrest level adjustments now, +1 for every drought and drought effects, and all unprosecuted wars. So first of all, let's just double check the forum area. We can see we've got no drought event cards, which is a good start there. Noted we did suffer the epidemic last turn as well, though that wasn't as impactful as the previous epidemic that we had in a few turns earlier. Let's go double check inactive wars, for example, see if there's any drought effects there. No, doesn't appear to be. Let's scroll up and have a look at our wars now. So we've got 3 unprosecuted wars right now. So that's already an increase of 3. Now, because the First Sicilian Pirates also has a drought effect, that is an additional increase to the unrest level. So we're now looking at a modifier of 4. And I'm pretty sure there are no other effects on the game board that I'm aware of. So if there's no challenges to that, we're going to see somebody's already adjusting that for me. Very good. So we're going to go from an unrest level of 2 and increase that before to a state unrest level of 6, which is high, but not at the high that we've certainly seen in this game, and we've certainly come back from worse. Okay, that is the unrest level adjustments done. Let's now move into the State of the Republic address, which will start with the speech by the highest ranking available official, and then they'll get to add their popularity to a 3d6 roll. So, who is our HRAO right now, folks?
I think that's Sulpicius, isn't it? Because the dictator's still standing off.
I think you are correct there. So we can see our dictator, who is now a proconsul, is currently sitting out there. That's Senator Furious. Didn't have quite a great turn with the First Macedonian War. Noting that he is now a proconsul, the Master of Horse has in fact returned back to Rome. So we can see Julius there, the Master of Horse, is factually back in Rome with the Eurdite faction and is eligible to vote. And you are most correct there, Lucius Julius. So Sulpicius, as Rome Consul, is the HRAO, and will now do the State of the Republic address. So over to you, good sir.
Thank you. Okay, people and senators of Rome, it was certainly a interesting year for us. The Macedonian War, we sent dictator Furious off with the largest army and fleets I think Rome's ever put together. But unfortunately, all that we managed to do there was stand off and shout at each other. So that still is in the background. Hannibal is still up in Gallia Cisalpina, and it's something that we will certainly have to consider because that war has been hanging around a while, and it won't be long before the elephants will be marching down our west coast. And then there's the pirates over in our favorite island, Corsica and Sardinia. What else happened during the year? Well, we sent our famous war hero off to Sardinia by himself to die. We believe the church was involved in that decision. And then when the senators of Rome decided to look at sending somebody from that faction over to governorship, the church got involved again. I believe it was Quinticus was the Pontifex Maximus at the time, and sent his tribune in. And once again, we find the church meddling in the affairs of the state, and we know what happens with when the gods, how the gods view that. And Quinticus paid for that price. We believe he caught a disease from Terentius, who had just returned from that hellhole Sardinia. So we lost 3 senators last year in that poor effort. So I think leading forward, we'll be looking at wanting a couple of new consuls. Sulpicius had his doors open all week, waiting to see if anybody was quite interested in looking at planning some new activities, but there was no takers on that. So I take that as you're more than happy with my decision making. So I will be moving forward with that. But for the people of Rome, the plebs, all is not lost. We still have strong people. We have some very good military leaders. We're very good at putting on games to appease the people when we need to. And I think we're all ready for battle. So I ask the Romans and the senators to continue to believe in us all. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Golf clap. Golf clap.
Lovely speech.
Let's hope the population is just as happy with the speech as we are. Okie dokie. So we now request of our highest ranking available officer to now roll the 3d6, and let's just double check our modifiers first. So what is the popularity of our Rome Consul right now?
2.
Is 2.
It's 2. All right. And so noting we have an unrest level of 6, we're going to minus 2 from that. So we're going to get a modifier of minus 4 to the 3d6 roll, unless there are any challenges to those sums. All right. So we're going to roll 3d6 nice and high. And we're going to minus 4 from that. So at your leisure, Rome Consul, please go ahead and let's see how we go.
Okay, 3d6.
11. 10, 9, 8, 7. So we now have a 7 on the State of the Republic table, which is going to see an increase of 3 to the unrest level, and unfortunately we're going to get a manpower shortage, which is not favourable. Not favourable at all. So
that's what happens when you send your war heroes off to die. He was a popular man.
All right, so I'm going to bring the manpower shortage token up for us into the play area, so keep us noted. So I'm just going to stick that right next to the State Treasury. So we now see that units will now cost 20 Now cost 20 apiece, unfortunately. And somebody increased the state unrest level for us. Somebody like to do that? Let's do that first. Any volunteers? Somebody working on that? If in doubt, Rome Consul, you can appoint someone.
That's right. Someone's doing it.
Yes, they are. Good. So we're going to see an increase of 3 from 6. That'll go take us to 9. Very good.
Bloody hell.
All right, and as we know, we are well and truly into the Senate phase now. So just a point of interest or a point of order for everybody. So again, I just want to emphasise a new card that we'll start to see more often now. Not sure how many or if there are any out there right now, but something called law cards. So law cards can be played at literally any time during the Senate phase, even during a current proposal that's already on the floor. The logistics of such we'll work out when we get to that point. What it requires is 2 consenting senators in Rome, and they don't have to come from the faction in question who proposes the law card. But if the law passes, they'll get some influence. So it's a little bit similar to land bills in that effect. The law is then put through as a proposal, and the current presiding magistrate, so not the person who necessarily plays the law card, but whoever is the presiding magistrate will then run the vote as they normally would. And if the law passes, it'll be enacted and it'll be displayed for all time on our game board, and if not, it'll be discarded. So I just wanted to let that out. So if you do possess a law card and you're in favour of it, or if you want to see it defeated, or if it's causing your hand to fill up and you need to otherwise get rid of it, then you can play that law card at any time, and it can be certainly considered by the Senate and voted upon in the usual manner. So I just wanted to point that out. Cool. Over to you, Rome Consul.
Okay. So we're at elections phase, right? I'm just busy doing something.
Yep, you're all right.
Give me a minute.
Like I like to say, please take your time when you're considering your proposals. So if you need to, look around the floor, you need to have some conversations with people. That's not a problem at all. More than happy for you to have the discussions, and I would suspect to see more of these, particularly backdoor political discussions occurring, whether that's through typing or calling or messaging. I'm perfectly happy for that to occur. We're not on the clock here, so that's fine.
Just a quick mention, we should put our prior consul markers on our senators.
Hopefully that will be done very shortly. So once we've elected the new consuls, you can the old outgoing consuls can then have the prior consul markers. I guess it doesn't hurt to have now. It's on our cheat sheet here. So yes, by all means, maybe that's a good activity. So yeah, good suggestion there, Quintus Octavius. While we're waiting for the Rome consul to form his proposals, perhaps the current office holders, so Rome and field consuls, can grab a prior consul marker. Same as pro consuls, they also get a prior consul marker if they haven't already got one. And of course, the Master of Horse also gets a prior consul marker as well. So maybe Nemurius Aurelius, if you could please get Julius in the Eurdite faction a prior consul marker, that would be awesome.
Thank you.
Emilius has got one as field consul. That's really good. And don't forget you, Tiberius Cornelius, to grab a prior consul marker for Furious as well. Noting, I guess, he won't be able to take effect of that to be elected censor until a future turn because he's still currently out of Rome during this Senate phase. No, he's got one? Good.
Okay. So should I remove the Master of Horse and put it in the sandpit for other people for the...
Look, we might as well. Normally this doesn't occur until after we've just elected the consuls, but yet happy for you to remove the Master of Horse now. That's not a problem because we know that the dictator position and the Master of Horse position lose their office on the election of the consuls. So yes, please.
Sorry,
if you'd like to move those to the sandpit now, you may.
I know. Get that off.
Good.
And the metal thing too. There we go. They're all together. And the stripe. Oh no, that's from before. Okay.
There you go. Good. You got the plaque and the purple token. Excellent. So you're good. You're all settled now. In fact, I'll just drag that down to here. There we go. And I'm pretty sure if we look at we can talk about that later. But you guys are in fact eligible for a dictator again in this this round as well. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I've looked long and hard at the short-term requirements for Rome and also the long-term. I think short-term we'll certainly be looking at wanting a dictator, which of course the new consuls will be choosing. So with that in mind, I haven't specifically chosen a couple of the obvious ones for consul because I believe they'll be up for a dictator role. I believe Rome owes it to Junius to be, are we nominating Junius as one of the consuls from the pre-Byzantium party? I think they've shown leadership in the past, and we have had success with them in power. So Junius, and the second person, I believe long-term Rome needs to have some new blood in the consuls. If we keep recycling the same people through, we'll be finding that our consuls will be just being from the same group of 3 or 4 until they all die out and we're left with nobody. And also they become very influential. So I think it's time to start bringing some new blood through. So with that in mind, I'm going to put forward Quintius of the Justita Merita party. Hopefully he's seen what power can do from his father and doesn't follow in his footsteps. They've separated from the church now, so I'm sure we won't see any meddling there. So as a providing officer, I'm proposing that Junius from pre-Byzantium and Quinticus from the Justita Merita party. I will call on the Justita Merita party first.
I place my 7 votes for the proposal.
Pre-Byzantium,
2 in favour, thank you.
the Eurdite faction,
6 votes for.
the House of Incognita,
10 votes for.
Fortuna's Despair,
6 votes for.
and the House of Julii has 7 votes for. So I love it when an unplanned plan comes together.
38 votes in favour, and the motion is carried.
So without further ado, Sulpicius will step down from his mantle and hand over to the new consuls of Rome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, if you just give us the consuls a few minutes just to discuss, I guess, dictatorship, which is on the cards.
We'll make sure the old consuls hand over their plaques and tokens to the new consuls once they work out who's who. And then we'll allow the new consuls to also award themselves a new influence and take up their mantle. But it's good to see that they're already having a discussion about dictators. This is good.
We have our fabulous typewriter coming through.
Yes.
Don't buy a mechanical keyboard, guys.
We'll allow that discussion to continue. We might run a quick 30-second ad break for the non-subscribers. Everybody else can see behind the scenes what's going on. Alrighty, so far so good. Consuls having a chat. Who's going to be who? Who's going to be dictator? Who might be master of horse after that? Very exciting. I do appreciate the deliberations that occur. The last time I physically played this game, there was 5-10 minute breaks we would have to have at the election of a new set of consuls, so the consuls to have a hearty discussion, and we even saw some upsets in games where the two consuls initially agreed about who was going to be who, but then one changed their mind and it had to be voted upon, I believe, or they had to dice off. That's right. dictatorship can eventually end up in a proposal which is voted on by the Senate if the consuls can't agree. And we've also seen consuls have to dice about who is going to be who because one changed their mind at the last minute. So some weird and wacky things can happen sometimes, particularly as the politics gets tense, as people get influential, as much sits on at stake for political power and gain, and the fate of Rome. Having a good discussion. This is one of the longest new elected consul chats that we've seen. But that's okay.
Well, we can move to the announcing the consul step if you like, but we haven't settled
that'd be good.
The other part yet.
Certainly, and perhaps we can go to a more voice discussion upon the Senate.
Yes, that's a good idea, I think.
All right. Myself, Quintus will be announcing the new Rome censor. Will be Julius, and I shall be taking up the role as field consul. Junius, sorry. So I am more than happy to hand over the presiding magistrate to my good close friend, Junius. Thank you.
Long live Junius.
Yes, thank you, field consul. We appreciate it. Yes, thank you. So I guess as the consul. As my dear field consul mentioned, as the Rome consul, as my dear field consul mentioned,
dear friend, of course,
dear friend, yes, of course, of course. We are having a current discussion about dictatorship. Now, as Decimus Aurelius pointed out, if we cannot come to an agreement, there could be a vote on the matter. At the moment, Marcus, I'm assuming it's all right if I mention what you said. Okay, perfect. So Marcus Decimus believes that a dictator is unnecessary. There is one crucial factor to his decision, I believe, which is the sending away the Second Punic War using the new alliance that we received last turn. So that is a useful move and one I agree with. But as to whether we need a dictator or not, I'm leaning more towards we should have one. So I guess if anyone has anything to add to that discussion, if they feel uncomfortable with the current situation, I think it's worth noting, obviously, the high unrest level and the manpower shortage, that we're not really going to be raising many forces. So perhaps it is unlikely that we would be splitting our forces, but at the same time, a dictator potentially, if there was anyone with high popularity, which, having a look around, doesn't appear to be too many options, could be useful against that unrest level. And if we win a war with them, starting next turn, that would be beneficial to the popularity and therefore lowering the unrest level. At the moment, if we send the field consul away, he could get a popularity boost as well. But it's just worth considering, how it's going to play out next turn. So again, if anyone has any suggestions.
I just wanted to, Marcus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, Mark. Okay. All I was going to just to also say quickly, as part of my decision making, certainly due to everything that's been raised before, we'll likely be focusing on one war. The other active war that we would be considering, obviously, would be the Sicilian pirates. Their big issue is we've got a large naval battle that we would need to prosecute first. So not only would we have the 10 supporting fleets for the Macedonian War, but then we would also have a look at a naval battle which has a strength of 8. So obviously would be needing to raise beyond and above the 8 that would be needing to face against the pirates.
And how does Philip V's multiplier affect that?
I imagine, as any other any other leader would. It would be +6 onto the 8.
Right. Okay.
Correct.
That's very difficult.
Yes.
Which may actually suggest that maybe we should send that war away. Would that disconnect Philip V from the Sicilian pirates, or would they come back together?
The other thing that's very important to note, we have an imminent Macedonian war.
Yes.
We
yes,
really
yes.
need to get rid of that.
Yep.
Yeah, I concur. I'm just curious, really. I guess in a discussion about war strategy, if there's because part of it is whether we send the Punic War away with our alliance or not. And so my question is, if we send the Sicilian pirates away, what happens to Philip V?
He would go to the Curia, as far as I would be aware.
Right. So if you read his event card, and I'll bring this up again for everybody here. It says the leader may remain in play and aid that war, but is discarded when the war is defeated. So if you defeat the Sicilian pirates, normally he'd be discarded, but there's a clincher if none of his matching wars are in the deck. Now, Philip V is attached to the Macedonian Wars, and so therefore what that's saying is if the Macedonian Wars exist, which they do, he is then placed in the Curia. But then when you note that an enemy leader is matched with his war, he immediately comes straight back out again and then is put on the Macedonian Wars. That's the way I read that. So if we were aware that there was a Macedonian war in the deck, then he'd just go to the Curia and he'd stay there if we had no active Macedonian wars. But the very fact that because the Macedonian wars are already in effect and they are active, and when we note that when an enemy leader is drawn and there is a matching war, they immediately both become active. There is no imminent war phase. And so Philip V, upon defeating the Sicilian pirates, he would then go sent straight and attached to the Macedonian Wars. That's the way I understand the rules.
So we're better off trying to defeat him as part of the pirates than we are part of the Macedonians. Not that we necessarily need to do it this turn, but just as a general strategy to get him off the board, it's best left undisturbed.
And of course, by also getting rid of the Punic War, we would see Hannibal go to Curia, which will allow us a chance to roll our 5 or a 6 to possibly kill off Hannibal before the redraw of the 2nd or the 3rd Punic War. We would also, I imagine, gain a valuable province back.
I think you're right.
Just following the course of our discussions, I just want to update my perspective. Is that I think that yes, Marcus's original sentiment seems to be correct. That obviously fighting the Macedonian was very pressing, considering the second one. I was already leaning towards sending the Punic War away. So obviously the Philip V situation doesn't really impact the decision. But in terms of dictator, I am leaning towards we don't need one anymore. So
just another question: can we afford the additional fleets we need for the Macedonians?
No, we
given
cannot.
manpower shortage.
Good point.
We are 1 gold short of being able to support the war.
Okay, well.
Meaning we only are able to actually fight the Sicilian pirates if we do fight any war.
Well, we're not even able to fight them. We don't have the strength to build the fleet for the naval battle.
We do have the strength to build.
But remember, it would be like a naval combat. We would have to roll. We wouldn't want to be a +2 on a roll.
Yes,
and a normal strategy is to be overmatched.
Would be a possible solution for this, as it would be able to have us a bonus modifier.
And remember, the leader adds +6 onto the 8.
So that's impossible. So I think that we're just.
So maybe we should be fighting the Punic War then.
No.
We can't fight the Macedonian War. We've established. We can't fight the Sicilian War. If we want to fight a war, it only leaves the Punic War.
Perhaps we don't fight a war.
Yeah,
I would not say we can't really risk not fighting a war, as we have the chance of being able to draw a 4th one, and if we lose next turn, we won't be able to win.
We would send away, and other options is we go after the Spanish Revolt. If we want to guarantee declaring war. I think there are plenty of options. What I think is on the cards is that we don't go to more than 1 war.
I think that's right. Yeah, I accept that. Which for the immediate decision on a dictator could be instructive. But I still think we should have a war strategy in mind before we make that decision.
Yeah, agreed.
But isn't the dictator still going to add strength to that as well too, even if
Not
we're
a naval one. I
the
believe
naval
whatever
one.
war we go
I thought
to.
we're looking at the Punic one. I thought we were looking at fighting the Punic one.
I think we always send that away. Like
We've sent it away every possible chance we have. That's why it's only at age 2.
Yes, but obviously with the inability to fight the other two wars, perhaps we should send the Macedonian away and clear the Punic War then.
There would be no point in sending the Macedonia away, as the third one would come out anyway.
Okay.
Well, we have to send one away, correct?
Do we keep the new alliance until it's used, or does it have to be used this turn?
I believe it has to be used. I believe it has to be used. I'm almost certain the wording was along that line.
Yep, I agree. It needs to be used this turn.
If we send it away, it comes back in the next 6 cards. There could also be another war that could be in those 6 cards as well.
But it gives us the ability, when the second Macedonian War becomes active, which it will next turn, we can hopefully defeat that before the first one comes and then bolsters the strength. So, in terms of just clearing that, hopefully just clear the Punic War as well, which we're capable of, because otherwise it's simply fighting the Spanish Revolt. So next turn we're going to have the 2 Macedonian Wars together, and the Sicilian Pirates, which is still going to be quite high in terms of strength.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, I'm always going to get my vote on sending the Macedonian War away because Aurelius is hung out dry there like his old man. So.
Because it's my understanding, if we go against the third Macedonian War this turn, it becomes active and automatically gets the doubling effect of having 2 wars. We can't try to pin it before it joins up with the first.
But won't that happen anyway?
Only next. Yeah, so that's where I am in agreement with sending it away.
So in terms of other benefits, let's get half of the money rounded down. They both have the same value, so there's nothing.
But we will not get any money for the first Macedonian War, as we've already fought the second one.
Oh, true. Okay, well that is a bit worse considering our financial situation.
We could send the third away. It's more gold. But at the same time, considering if we send the first one away, it doesn't become an unprosecuted war, which is worth 20 gold, 20 talents to us.
Yes.
So let me just clarify, just make sure we're all on the same page here, right? So if both Macedonian wars are matched, then you're forced to fight them in order. So you have to fight the first Macedonian first, then the third. Now you can technically fight both wars at the same time, but they need to be separate forces. Now, in this case, if you happen to send the first Macedonian away with the event card and you defeat the third first, then the first will then be a revolt and you won't get the provincial spoils.
So we could use the card to send away the first Macedonian War and then prosecute the third. How does that sound?
That sounds too risky.
So we'd
bring out another war.
We'd activate the third?
I believe it doesn't become active until we send the forces. So we could, because the card activates at the end of the Senate phase, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No matter what happens, it activates.
No, I'm talking about our new alliance. Let me just confirm the exact phase that it activates.
So the new alliance card is actioned at the end of the Senate phase?
Yes.
And if you're talking about the activation of the imminent war...
Yes, that would be at when we enter basically the combat phase. Or
the mortality phase is when the third Macedonian War will be played up to become an active war.
If we sent a force to prosecute an imminent war, it becomes active. It becomes active after the Senate phase.
If you send a force during this Senate phase to attack the third Macedonian War, then it becomes active in that combat phase.
Yes, all right. So in that case, this is my thinking. Now with that clarified, we use our new alliance, we send away the first Macedonian War, and then we look to prosecute the third.
That way we would actually get money out of it.
We actually get money out of it. We can prosecute a war, get it killed, and again, we still won't need a dictator.
What are
So
our
what?
odds
So we'd
currently looking
save
like?
20 talents on an unprosecuted war. We'd gain
We won't need to
Uh,
raise any more fleets,
35 talents. So that's 55 talents.
and we probably won't even need to raise any legions. Just having a quick look. We just
We will not.
Alternatively, if we sent the Macedonian War away, let's save ourselves 20 talents, we could prosecute the Punic War. If we win, we get 45 talents, 25 talents, so 45 net outcome. So slightly financially favourable to do what Marcus suggested.
We do get no
Like
money
10
from the
talents.
first one, by the way. Tiberius.
But if we send it away, we don't have to pay for not prosecuting it.
That is correct.
yeah.
Sounding right so far.
Well, I think Nelly, yeah, because I think we only need a dictator if we choose to prosecute the second Punic War.
I mean,
Yes,
why
I
wouldn't you
think
have a
might be
dictator anyway to give yourself
does-
those extra stats?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that you know,
I agree.
yeah, I kind of agree with that in a sense. If
yeah,
we're going for this more
yeah,
risky strategy,
yeah.
Yeah, I guess I will be open with the Senate. You know, dictator has a lot of power. We're unable to veto certain positions under threat of foreign invasion. Us as senators give up certain rights when it comes to decision making handed into the hands of a prominent senator. I think there's an opportunity to reclaim some rights for the Senate during this phase. Perhaps
Well, what
we
about-
will.
What about if Cornelius is master of horse or something? Do you know what I mean? Like, does that make you feel more comfortable?
I mean
No,
that is a strong military position.
I have a question for the GM at the moment.
Yes.
If we send away the First Macedonian War, would the troops automatically come back?
Yes, correct. Any units or commanders that are otherwise unsupported or inefficient, but yes, those forces will be considered withdrawn
So
if they're
then we
not
would have-
already withdrawn as a part of this phase.
So then we would have no need for an actual dictator or master of horse due to the amount of forces that are actually in those troops, which we could then send.
Well, I think again it comes back to
Though I don't know if the timing would work out with it due to the fact that it would technically go at the end of the Senate phase. So I don't know if they would count as being there.
We can always recall any of these forces. We'll just have to do it via a proposal. So I don't
Correct.
think that would be an issue for us.
I think
Like-
we don't need a dictator.
Well, the thing about a dictator is it gives you economy of force. So that means that if we have a stalemate or a disaster, perish the thought, that we suffer less losses.
Correct. So it comes down to the decision. Let's say in a scenario where we were going after the Third Macedonian War, that if we were to roll an 8 or a 4, we would lose less forces. And we juxtapose that with having a dictator over the Senate and Rome, giving up certain rights that regular senators would have, and giving those positions extra.
I'd just like to make a quick
That
point.
doesn't seem to have been a problem in the past.
Yes, Tiberius makes the perfect point that the Justitia Marita party has been dictator in less pressing circumstances. So I believe that his commentary is a bit out of touch, perhaps would be how I would phrase it. So perhaps it's worth considering that that the situation is more dire with the treasury and the unrest level and the wars. That if we thought the powers were necessary to give the dictator in lesser situations, it's certainly urgent now. So that's just my 2 cents, fellow senators.
Yep.
Well, the good thing is you're the consul and get to make a proposal.
Yes, well, I mean,
Dictator
we're still in the. Well, I guess if we're going to move into the open Senate, because this is still the electing a dictator.
Well, officially, we would have to elect our Pontius Maximus first before dictator.
Okay. So I guess we may as well do that. We'll get back to this in a second. So, I guess before it. Okay, we'll move Pontius Maximus. Does anyone wish to be Pontifex Maximus, knowing the bad luck that the role has historically provided? Anyone at all?
Well, let me just say that given Fortuna's despair is the religious faction,
Yes.
maybe the gods have been punishing us for not aligning the Pontifex Maximus with the religious
The name
faction
as
all
well
this time.
too. I feel like it just
Do you have a specific senator in mind, Tiberius Cornelius?
Let's give it to the least loved, Achilles.
Perfect. All right. Well, is it an election or a vote? I can't remember. I believe it's a
It
vote.
would be an election.
Okay, yep. Okay, so I move that Achilles of the Fortuna's Despair faction be the Pontifex Maximus. Eurdite faction, how would you like to vote?
6 votes for.
Thank you. House of Incognita.
10 votes for.
Thank you. Fortuna's Despair.
Let me check Mortality. 6
Thank
votes
you.
for.
House of Julii.
7 votes for.
Thank you. Justitia Marita.
7 votes for.
And here at the Pre-Byzantium, we will offer our 2 votes in favour.
So 38 in favour, none against, so the motion is carried.
All right. So go ahead and grab your plaques, which I believe you're already doing.
Yep.
Um,
And don't forget to add
Not I,
5
but
influence to
it was
Achilles'
like the gods themselves
influence
reached
tally.
down and made that happen, so that was by magic.
Okay, so just give me 1 second.
Make sure you add your 5 influence.
Okay,
Oh,
so as for the dictatorship, since we're in the dictatorship step, I believe we should need one. So I guess this is a matter of agreement before we move on. So Marcus, I guess what's your final decision on this front?
I believe we do not need a dictator.
Okay, so we will not be electing a dictator at this point.
I would like to,
Now-
just before you stop
I just
and say that, Jim, do you want to say something first?
I was just going to say that. So even though the field consul disagrees, remember the Rome consul, as presiding magistrate, still gets the option to then take that to the floor as a proposal. So if you, as Rome consul, still wish to see a dictator appointed, well, in this case now elected, you can bring that to the floor with an announcement, and at that point, tribunes can also be played, and this proposal can also be vetoed. I just want to make sure that is known to you before going forwards as well.
Okay, so it has to be in this step, not in the general kind of.
Rome Consul, I would like to talk about something real quick.
Yes, of course.
My personal scribe in my own faction has been jotting down some notes, and
Yes.
our current total pool, if we do recall troops, will be 20, and we would need to send 14 of those with a senator of +4 to fight your Third Macedonian War, which would mean if we do roll a disaster, we could lose 7 troops minimum, depending on how we want to get. If we want a +10 roll, this could be quite detrimental, as we only most of our troops are 5 veteran legions and 15 regular legions. This could reduce our power from 25 to a possibility of going under 15, which would be quite detrimental to our force and fighting other wars.
Thank you. I shall take that into account. Okay, so I guess just give me a quick second just to think about what I wish to do before I move on. So as Rome Consul, I'm going to move that Julius of the Eurdite faction be elected as dictator. As such, I shall call for votes. So Eurdite faction, how would you like to vote?
6 votes for.
Sorry.
I just wanted to get the number, sorry, for the proposal.
4.
And what's the name? Julius? Julius.
Julius.
Yes.
So that was 6 votes in favour.
Yes.
Marcus, yep. House of Incognita.
Please hold my votes to the end.
Oh, I don't know if you can do that.
You can't,
Don't think you can do that.
you can't
What was
choose
he?
that.
What was he doing?
He wants
He
to
wants
hold
to-
his votes until the end. Though I
No,
have called
you
him.
must. You either pledge your votes now, as per the presiding magistrate's call, or you've automatically abstained.
I'll abstain.
How many
Okay.
votes?
10.
10.
Fortuna's Despair.
Of 6 votes in favour.
Thank you. House of Julii.
7 votes in favour.
Thank you. Justitia Marita.
7 votes against.
Thank you. And Prebyzantium, 2 votes in favour.
So it gives us a total of 21 in favour against 7. So the motion's carried.
Okay. Marco, I guess if you would like to grab your dictator plaque, I shall move the presiding magistrate. Actually, I'll grab the dictator one for you.
That'll be nice. I think it's all the way down the bottom at the moment.
Okay. Oh, yes, I see it. Yep.
And if somebody would like to assist her getting 7 influence for Julius now as well.
I can do that as well. 7. Okay. Just moving that.
So for those that are interested to learn just what happened then, that was Rule 1.09.32. So if the consuls cannot agree to appoint a dictator, the Senate may immediately elect a dictator if the presiding magistrate calls for such elections, which is what just occurred.
The people of Rome have spoken in a democratic voice.
Thank you.
So, Marco, I will give the floor to you then.
Thank you for this, and I appreciate your faith. I now need to elect a Master of Horse, somebody with a good military rating. So I have been having a look over to Flaminius from the House of Incognito. I also did have a look over. There was possibly Cornelius with a military of 4 from Justia Marita, were I thought the 2 main options.
Cornelius is ready to fight alongside the dictator.
Flaminius will step down from this.
Excellent.
That's a reason to send him if anything is.
I would like to ask Cornelius if he would like to take up the position of Master of Horse.
At your command.
Thank you.
Jeez, Cornelius was pretty keen against the dictatorship, and he easily falls in line. So I'm not sure what that says about him.
You'll find
to be wary of dictator. That's one word for it.
Cornelius, they call him. Cornelius the pragmatic.
Adaptable.
You'll find your Master of Horse markers in the sandpit there, and if you'd like to make sure you add your additional influence, 3 influence to Cornelius.
Flexible Marita party.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm not here to stand against the will of the Senate.
I do find it interesting that the House of Incognito, once again, putting its own house interests against those of the Republic.
Not putting against, just
let the record show.
Okay.
The House of Incognito remains anonymous, hence their name.
Indeed. What game are they playing? Senators should be asking themselves.
Okay, so next course of action is to ask for nominations for censor. Can I hear? Yep.
I'll put forward Papyrus. He did it last time, and he didn't prosecute anybody. Allow that to be his the standard on which he is judged.
We should note that previously the House of Incognito used successive censorships to their advantage, ending in death. So perhaps all senators should be wary of that, and Papyrus too. That high influence can be a deadly job.
Yes, that is true, and I'm aware of that risk to myself. But do note, fellow senators, that there is no intention from this faction to abuse the trust that is placed on that senator.
Because there's an empty seat on that island of Sardinia too for those who...
Which Calpurnius should take.
You'd hope so, with all his money.
We can force it upon him. He has no choice.
There is also the option to elect Plautius from my own faction because he has a prior consul marker as well.
That went out well last time someone went to elect someone from their own faction.
Yeah.
This is why we need to get some more consoles with prior console markers.
Agreed.
Okay. Who'd be a dictator, eh?
Pardon?
Who'd be a dictator?
So is it just an appointment from the dictator, or is it still voted upon?
It's an
I
election.
thought it was still voted
It's a
upon.
proposal.
So I thought that we still had the option to vote upon it. Is there any? It looks like there's really only two main candidates. Did we have an opinion as to which order to do them first? So
I believe there is one in the House of Julii that might be worth considering.
Sulpicius. Yeah?
Yes.
Would Sulpicius be wanting to nominate at all?
Yeah, Sulpicius is not one to step away from office.
I mean,
What would be his platform of censoring?
His great harbour fees.
But I mean, what would be his agenda if elected?
His agenda, yes. I think at this stage, Sulpicius would be given that he's got one of his own faction members out in governing and needing the Senate to agree on sending troops there. I think he would be loath to issue any prosecutions this round. He'd like to keep in favour with all of the senators.
and just a quick point of interest there too, Dictator. You can nominate any eligible candidate that you like. They don't have to consent. Of course, they can vote against the proposal, but you can put anyone you like who is eligible up as a candidacy for this position. You don't have to ask their permission.
Emilius will put his hand up.
Emilius? Emilius? Or not Flaminius? Emilius?
Emilius will put his hand up for censorship.
Over to you, Dictator. I think we've got enough candidates, enough hands up in the classroom.
Time to make an executive decision, I believe.
Yep, agreed. Okay, I'm going to put forward the first motion, which obviously everyone can vote upon. I am going to put forward Plautius as the first round, and I'm going to call for votes. First of all, from the pre-Byzantium.
2 votes in favour, Dictator.
Thank you. Next, I'm going to call upon the Justia Marita faction.
7 votes against the proposal, Dictator.
Mm-hmm. Next, I'm going to call upon Fortuna's Despair.
6 votes against the proposal.
Next, I am going to call upon House of Incognita.
10 against the proposal.
And last but not least, the House of Julii.
We'll do 7 against.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget yourself, Dictator.
Oh, yeah. 6 votes for, but I'm not sure at this point that it matters.
8 in favour.
8 in favour.
And 30 against.
Excellent.
So that's really rare to see motions fail, but that one did.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. It does happen. So next in line, I am going to call upon Sulpicius from the House of Julii. I'm going to first call upon the House, the pre-Byzantium.
2 votes in favour, Dictator.
Yep. And next I'm going to call upon Marcus from the, where are we? Justia Marita.
7 votes in favour, Dictator.
The House of Julii.
7 votes in favour.
Next is Fortuna's Despair.
I'll do 6 against.
And finally, House of Incognita.
5 votes for, 5 votes against.
And I will do, where are we? 6 votes for.
The motion will pass 27 to 11.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Sulpicius accepts with grace. There's no more plain sailing these days, though, is there?
No, choppy waters ahead.
Okay,
But
take
at
a
least,
moment, Censor, please, to adopt your new plaque and office token, and please be sure to add 5 additional influence to your tally for Sulpicius.
I will do that. But so as to not hold up the required discussion on war, Sulpicius will stand behind what he said earlier, and there will be no prosecutions this round. And
Excellent.
so he will hand back over to the dictator to plan for saving Rome.
But before you do that, you're going to make one final announcement, which is what,
Oh,
Censor?
yes. And you can remove your corruption markers.
Very good.
thank you.
Hooray!
Yay.
Hey.
Good move. Okay. So,
So let's
there's
all, if we can, Dictator, let's just make sure we can do all our admin first. So if everyone can please remove their corruption from their concessions, any red major corruption markers that you may have, make sure they go back to the kitty on the side. And again, just a reminder for Sulpicius, don't forget to grab your censor influence as well.
Yep, just doing that now.
Very good. All right. Now noting that Aurelius is still governor, he's going to retain his governor corruption for the time being. So I'm just going to pop that back on his card there,
Yep,
Mark
sorry.
Duedia. And let me fix it. I've been accidentally resizing it. There we go. So I'm going to leave that on his card. Yeah, so, of course, governors that are still away from Rome that are corrupt will retain their corrupt governor markers until their first return to Rome. But everyone else seems to be in order now, by the looks of it. Good. Just checking the field. Okay, that all seems to be in order. Okay, thank you, Dictator. Back to you. I'd just like to make sure
There's
that's all
no
done.
provincial governors to elect.
Actually, there is.
There is? Oh, where are we?
Well, hang on. No, I don't see any. No, not right now. Disregard. I mean, of course, there's always the option to, recall a governor should you so desire. But no, I stand down. There is no governorships to consider at this point unless you plan to recall any.
Dictator, I would like to put in favour that we should recall a governor and send Calpurnius over to be able to send over there with his money, which would take him out of our reigns and not have to deal with him in the future.
Okay, so hang on. Yes, we should move for a governor change. And so whom was it that you were proposing?
I
From
believe
your
we
own
should.
faction?
No, I believe we should put Calpurnius from the standard.
The one we all bid for last time, because he's got
Yes.
so much money on him, no one's
Yeah.
going to be successful getting him, so we may as well send him off to die.
Can he use his money to strengthen the province?
And then we can take the strength. We can recall then after he's bought them. Can we
So
recall?
That would be green.
this is a good question that's been brought up, and I'd like to address this. So there is a level of automation that occurs when Calpurnius, as an unaligned senator, becomes governor. Again, so if we go to the particular rule set in here, so there's a certain order in which they will recruit provincial forces. Now, whether or not they use personal funds, I'm not 100% certain, and I would like to look this up because I think it's worth noting. I mean, noting that the dictator can choose not to do anything here. But if we may just take a brief moment, I'd like to look this up if we can.
I'm not sure really if it would affect our decision, but
No,
It would be
fair
interesting
enough.
because he would be collecting spoils as well, I would imagine. To some
Again,
degree.
it depends. I don't know whether unaligned senators decide to take spoils.
Well, if he rebels, we can always chop his head off.
Yeah, that's right. It's all right. I'll keep looking in the background if you wish to continue. If that's not going to affect your decision, Dictator, this is your court. You get to determine what happens.
No, I think it's not. I think it is a good idea. We do have the option. I can then. We have the option to pull back Aurelius as well too from Sicilia, or we also still have, who do we have up there? Aurelius.
But if you call somebody back, you have to send somebody out there, though, right?
can't we send? Weren't we saying that we have the option to send Calpurnicus, the unaligned senator, as well?
Yeah, well, isn't he going to Sicilia? Sorry, I was missing that bit. Isn't he? Because the Sicilian pirates will
Yes.
need a governor in.
Well, no, because they're under pirate control. We won't be able to send a governor there.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I have some information.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at Rule 1.09.53 on unaligned governors, so they will certainly collect taxes for the state, but they will not take provincial spoils from the province.
Okay.
So there's probably a good chance that they might actually, what's the correct wording? Update to the province, better the province if they're not taking provincial spoils.
Quite potentially. I'm just looking at the advanced rules now on provincial governors here.
I imagine we would have the GM role in that instant.
Let's have a look. An unaligned governor will raise forces in equal proportions, with armies getting preference in the case of an odd number of builds. The maximum number of provincial forces that each province may raise is defined on the province card. Yep. So it doesn't particularly articulate here if he uses personal funds.
It probably sounds like no, I would imagine, by the sounds of that.
It's pretty default. So and it doesn't even sound like... I'd have to read the language around developing provinces. If it's just, you know, a role is committed. But, you know, if it's talking about an aligned senator gets to make a role for the development of a province, then that would exclude Calpurnius from making that role. So we can double check that.
It seemed to me that in principle, anything that's a choice, he's not able to make because there's nobody to guide his choice.
Right.
But I don't think you can choose not to roll for the development. I think that was just
that's automatic. So that's fine.
Yeah. I think anything automatic they would do. And like the rules were saying, he'll generate 2 provincial legions and 1 provincial fleet each turn.
So reading the rules here, 1.06.4 on provincial development, it only specifies that provinces without a governor cannot roll for development, which implies that an unaligned governor can roll for development, which occurs anyway. But I guess then you get the additional modifier because he would not be corrupt because he doesn't take provincial spoils.
Yes, that would. I think that makes sense.
It does, and he could even earn himself some influence should he do that successfully. So
the most powerful unaligned senator. We create the 7th faction.
There you go. Right, I think we're armed now with all the information. He just doesn't spend his personal talents by the looks of it.
Okay, that's fine. I think that's a good choice. So I'm able, we're able to have... Pardon?
We should have made him dictator.
Cashed up.
Okay, so I'm going to recall Aurelius. And he's going to return home, and we are going to send Calpurnicus instead.
So can that be one proposal?
Yes, it can.
Yep. Okay, cool.
I'm going to put that as one proposal, and I'll first call upon Pre-Byzantium to give votes.
2 votes in favour, thank you.
So hang on, what's the proposal? I'm sorry.
The proposal is to recall Aurelius and to send Calpurnicus.
What's his number?
9.
Thank you.
Instead.
What's his province that he's governing?
It is. Sorry, I'm just slow moving.
Sicilia.
Around.
No. It is Illyricum.
Illyricum.
So we can recall governors who are under attack?
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that's an issue. Again, we can go to the advanced rules and looking under provincial wars to double check.
Good time to get out of Dodge.
Yeah. I mean, so I think it's okay so long as there is in fact a governor at the end of the day, because governorships are compulsory. I think it should be fine. It's nice to worth double checking. Provincial wars. Whenever an active war appears, provinces considered under attack. They may maintain their existing provincial forces for free, but they may not build new ones. At the end of the combat phase, before any unprosecuted wars, they've got to do some attacking. Must attack the war. So there's nothing against the prohibition of changing governors. That seems to be quite satisfactory. So, I'm happy to proceed.
Okay, Justita Marita faction.
7 votes in favour of the proposal.
House of Julii.
7 votes in favour.
Fortuna's Despair.
6 in favour.
House of Incognita.
10 in favour.
And 6 votes in favour from me as well.
So that's 38 zip.
Great. So the motion is carried.
It is.
All right. I'll remove Aurelius and send him home. Put him up there, and I'll send out Calpurnius now. Let's have a look.
Aurelius has done something his father couldn't do. Get home.
Convince the Senate to bring him back. All right.
Oh.
So Aurelius can remove his away from Rome marker and then add his votes back to the House of Julii's tally. And I'm going to stick an away from Rome stamp on top of Calpurnius now, so we all know that he's no longer in the forum and he's unable to be persuaded. Very good. We may now continue at your leisure, good dictator.
Yes, just making sure nobody else wanted to head off and have a governorship, with, Aelius, if anyone's super keen on heading out that way.
No.
No?
Only if that's in your interest, dictator.
So you can recall the governor in a separate proposal before you send someone else, correct? Doesn't have to be
Yes,
one
on the assumption that you will reappoint someone, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Who's the dictator again? It's Julius, isn't it?
It's Julius.
Yeah.
Yes, hang on. We've got to put... can somebody grab the dictator purple office marker for Julius? Now, did somebody add influence for Julius before, for dictator?
Yes.
Yes, I believe I did.
Good.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. And if somebody... good. So their marker's coming. Yes, we're going to make sure that everyone gets their marker. Excellent.
And who's Master of Horse?
I am.
Yeah, just.
And you've got your marker,
yes.
Master of Horse. Very good.
Cornelius, number 1.
All right. Just apropos of nothing, I'm just going to send a priest to Cornelius just to make sure there's some good rites that get delivered on the battlefield.
Thank you.
The church has not done well in that faction.
Good. Thank you for announcing that, Pontifex Maximus. And don't forget to add one influence there, Cornelius.
Yes.
Dictator Claudius would not mind switching with Aurelius or Aurelius or however you spell that guy's name.
Excellent. No, I think that's in the best interests of Rome, and I thank you for putting him forward.
Fresh blood.
Yes. I will put that forward to a vote. So first I call for Pre-Byzantium.
What's the actual proposal?
So the proposal is that Claudius replaces, where are we?
Aelius.
Right.
In
Sicilia.
It's number 5, Tiberius.
Did we have a vote on Calpurnicus going to Illyrian, or was that part of the previous one as well?
That was part of the previous one. So it was the double thing that he would be recalled and replaced. So this is similar of recalling Aelius and replacing with Claudius. Calling upon the Pre-Byzantium.
That was 2 votes in favour, dictator.
Thank you. And Justita Marita faction.
7 votes against dictator.
Fortunatus Despair,
6 against.
the House of Julii,
10 against.
House of Incognita,
10 in favour.
and I have 6 votes for.
So the votes for were 18. The votes against were 23.
23. Okay, well, we will be moving on then. Okay, so next in the order of business is assigning open concessions that are present in the forum, and it looks like we have quite a few of those.
Dictator, I'd like to ask that my faction be assigned one, simply because as Pontifex Maximus, we lost all of our treasury due to bad luck multiple times. So I think that it would be fair if there was some restitution. Right? As we can see, I have armaments
Here.
at
I
the
agree that
moment,
it's fair.
but can't raise any forces, so it's not really doing much for me. So
I believe all factions affected by the misfortunes of the Pontifex Maximus should be helped repaid.
I mean, I think that's a good proposal.
I think that's fair enough.
Yeah,
I
when the
was-
Pontifex Maximus said that he would pay to this state treasury to help raise funds, he didn't, so why should you be able to have more money?
what's it?
It was
An
during-
allegation has been left hanging in the Senate.
Well, I mean, if we remember the Pontifex Maximuses, actually all three previous Pontifexes paid with their lives. I'm not sure whether we can quantify that in terms of talents. So, but I mean, looking at the
I
concessions
mean,
here,
you did it with Aurelius and influence. I don't see an issue.
it was Flaminius who was executed for corruption. I think that's a very different case than.
I don't see any corruption with him, and he did not actually do
But
anything wrong. He kept to his word, whereas you guys did not.
I also believe Papyrus offered the shipbuilding money to the games, and then it decided ended up in his personal bank. So I don't think
That is correct as well.
there's one
Well,
person
I
who
made the
agrees.
offer, but nobody wanted to take me up on that.
I will, to be
We did
fair
take
to
you up on the
Tiberius,
offer, but you did not.
I don't think we did. To be fair to Tiberius, in my view, we didn't. So I'm with him on that that point.
Since we're all squabbling over tax farmers,
the
Aurelius
money.
would
What a
like to
shock.
put his hand- Aurelius, having returned from the war, would put his hand up for a tax farmer dictator.
Yes. Okay. So in total, I'm just counting up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 in total. Question: is a singular person able to have more than one tax farmer?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So they can be piled up on all of that as well too. Okay. So one.
Probably also worth noting that the land commission may be more or less valuable depending on if we choose to raise a land bill, because at the end of the Senate phase, the land commission will be destroyed if we do not have a land bill.
Okay, so it may well turn out to be pretty worthless later on.
But considering we do have a huge unrest level, that may be something worth considering, Dictator.
Well, you could
Okay.
always donate to lower it.
Yeah, well, I think we're kind of going to have to. But just wanted to raise that for the Dictator.
Thank you. So moving forward, I am going to, so I simply appoint these. These are not voted upon. So
These are
tax
voted
farm-
upon.
They are voted upon, each one?
Yes. Yep. All concessions are proposals.
Okay, and do I have to do it each one as a singular proposal, or can I do multiple ones in a proposal?
So you can do multiple in a single proposal, but note that once a concession is considered, it can only be considered once per turn.
Okay, so if therefore it fails, it sits in the sandpit for another.
Correct.
Okay.
Just before you make your proposal, Dictator,
Yep.
just for the record, like to inform senators that this will be our 100th proposal
Yep.
for the
Wow.
that the Senate has acted upon.
That's awesome.
Let's make it a good one.
That's a great stat. What a good little piece of trivia that is.
And it's going to be about money, isn't it? Nothing high in principle.
Okay. I am actually going to make a multiple proposal for 3 of them because I feel like it helps to serve then in people's interests. So I'm going to propose that Tax Farmer 1, 3, and 5 be delivered as per Tax Farmer 1 to pre-Byzantium.
Hang on, you need a senator name for me, please, and a number.
The senator is
Junius, number 10.
Junius, number 10.
For tax farmer 1.
Tax Farmer 1. And then Quinticus from Justia Marita for Tax Farmer 3.
Hang on, just slow it down a bit.
Quidius, which is 18.
Yep. And the Tax Farmer 5 for Manlius of House of Incognita is the proposal. So I'm going to call upon votes from the pre-Byzantium.
2 votes in favour, Dictator.
Yep. Next is the Justia Marita faction.
7
Who was
votes.
sorry, who was the last one? The tax farmer 5 goes to who?
House of Incognita to Manlius.
Manlius, I think.
Manlius.
Manlius, yeah.
It's the manliest guy going around, isn't he? What number is he?
Manlius, Senator 6.
6, thank you. Sorry about that, everybody.
Yep. So for the Justita Marita faction,
That was 7 votes in favour.
House of Julii,
10 votes in favour.
Fortuna's Despair,
6 in favour.
House of Incognita.
Even though it won't matter, 10 votes against.
Oh, why is that?
Because I do not wish my senator to have that.
Interesting. Public ploy to seem impartial.
Oh, well, it also means that you can't get the corruption as well, too.
The corruption does not faze me.
Well, you don't have to play.
Correct.
You don't have to claim the money. You can leave it unplayed.
You have to claim the money.
No.
Ooh.
Oh.
It is always mandatory to claim a concession.
Finally, 6 votes in favour from the Eurdite faction.
So it passes 28 to 10.
Okay, excellent. So there are 2 other concessions, which is Tax Farmer 6.
Just before we go on, can I just make sure those senators get their new concessions?
Thank you.
If they need to be adjusted in terms of depth, let me know.
That's all right.
We've seen one go off to Junius of Pre-Byzantium, one off to Quinticus of Justia Marita, and the other one is going to Manlius of the House of Incognita. Okay, good. Thank you, Dictator.
Okay, excellent. So we have 2 left. They are Tax Farmer 6 and also the Land Commissioner, which was the one that they were saying could be kind of either way.
So just a quick point of interest there, Dictator. Note that the Land Commissioner concession cannot be assigned until there is a land bill in effect.
Okay, so I can't assign it this turn anyway.
Yeah, you can. You're just going to make sure a land bill is in effect first.
I'd just like to make a public commitment that if Tax Farmer 6 was assigned to the Pontifex Maximus, he would use that plus his Pontifex Maximus earnings to help support the cost of games.
Is he going to keep word this time?
Well, it's a public deal, so
Big deal.
I guess it hinges on whether he gets it or not.
A
It's
public deal
likely-
provided that everyone agrees to it.
It's likely more valuable that we send the dictator money so that they could host games to increase the modifier.
Yeah, I take your point, so I'm happy to amend it to be that.
That's true. Okay. So I'm just having a look.
Take your time. No rush.
There we go. Well, the Land Commissioner is worth more as well too. So we could send that to Julius. And then Tax Farmer 6, you were proposing for which senator, Tiberius?
Achilles, number 12.
Okay. So I'm going to put forward a proposal that the Land Commissioner goes to Julius.
Hang on,
which
Dictator.
is- Yep.
So just read my previous point that the land commissioner concession
I
can't
have
be
to have a
assigned
land
until
bill.
there's a land bill in effect.
Okay, but I can assign it afterwards if I do propose
Correct.
a land.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can still do it this turn. You're just going to make sure there's a land bill in effect first.
Okay. And we will. It looks like we probably will be doing a land bill, possibly a low level one.
Well, that's up to you. You get to decide. I mean, of course, you can consult others for opinions. That's always an option. But yes, you as dictator gets to determine what happens and what's presented to the floor.
Well, Dictator, if I may say, all senators have enough money combined that they're able to make enough funds themselves to not need a land bill or only a land bill type 1.
Yeah.
Certainly an option. I mean, if you can encourage everybody to make a public deal, then I guess that is also an option. But, at the end of the day, if you still want to see a land bill in effect, Dictator, you can, of course, put one on the floor.
I was also wondering, because I was thinking a lot of people would probably be wanting to host games as well too. So I was wondering about people's inclinations about hosting games as well, if that was high on the priority list as well.
We could also consider spending less personal funds on games, doing land bills, and then putting more money to the treasury of the state
because we
to
may
be able
need
to go wars.
Yes, exactly. So
the House of Incognito will always play a game.
Joker.
Well, if you're very flush with money, I think that's a very good idea.
Well, there's plenty of money on the board at the moment.
Yeah.
Should ask
Especially
Copernicus to
in
donate.
some corners.
Yeah, can we roll a 3d6 to see if Copernicus will pay for some games?
Yeah, he's a Roman senator too, just not a part of a faction. I don't see how he just gets to escape
We
his
just need to roll an
obligations.
18 and he pays for the highest game. 17 he pays for the second lowest.
Okay.
I'm
16.
thinking that sounds really good.
That sounds really good. Let's make a public agreement.
Let's make a public deal that the
Let's make a
richest,
proposal.
Almost.
richest individual senator donates their entirety of the cash to the state treasury.
Doesn't
We'll
make
pass a tax reform bill. Dictator, please move that proposal.
Well, I'm pretty sure we can do proposals.
We would have to ask the GM about that proposal.
So, even for an aligned senator, unfortunately, you cannot pass a proposal that forces an individual to spend money.
Dang.
So what if
sort of
we
government is
threaten
this?
him with death?
Jeez, I wish real life was like that.
Isn't
I
that why
think
the state has control of the military?
Jeez.
Yeah. I think
Ancient Rome was
In
fairly
my
libertarian.
that we
Yes,
might
Margaret?
be worth raising a level 3 land bill, and Quintus would be happy to sponsor that. My thinking behind it.
I think that if we're going to be sponsoring bills, perhaps someone with negative popularity does it in terms to balance out the benefits.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
I think, the main reason why I'm thinking is it's the best bang for buck in the short term while we have a lower state treasury to lower the unrest, and instead of us spending a large amount of talents on games, we can then place those talents towards the state treasury to raise forces. Because I still think there's still quite a few wars coming up, and if we kind of go through a general idea of what we were talking about before, possibly sending away the first and combating the second, we will be looking at prosecuting some big wars and large fleet battles in the coming turns.
I just from my perspective, I do agree with the tier 3, but perhaps it would be beneficial for Julius to sponsor, since the popularity is going to give them a boost in the next State of the Republic.
Then perhaps I'll suggest I'm happy to co-sponsor.
You should also take in mind that if no one donates to the state treasury and we lose this war, we will be in negative.
Yeah, it's worth noting that you're not allowed to be in negative. If you go negative, you all lose.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we would lose the war before we would have to donate. So I think that everyone here would donate, considering it'd be necessary. I'm not worried that we've got a bunch of nihilists here who would simply hoard their money and lose the game.
Yes,
Can we put a law card together that says we create a central bank of Rome and that can lend to the government? It's quantitative easing.
This is what real governments do.
I will purchase some Roman bonds.
Yes.
Someone, what's the
to itself?
What's the yield curve, guys? 30 years.
Yeah, it's pretty positive at the moment.
Awesome.
So House of Incognita, you had opinions about that as well too. Did you have opinions against a Type 3 land bill?
I'm completely against any type of land bill but a Type 1.
Okay.
It's a waste of money.
It can be repealed before the debt matures.
Yes, but then you would also take the negative lashback from being acting that. Whereas if you deal with Type 1, you won't.
So what did you say, Lucas?
I'm with House of Incognito on this. I think long term, it's not. It's borrowing.
Rome itself does not have enough funds to be able to support this.
I just wanted to clarify the point made by Tiberius there, that so if a land bill is instated, yes, you can repeal it in the same turn, but then you've also got to add the unrest level back on as well.
Yeah, so we can put it into effect this turn, let it run for a turn or more, and then repeal it. And if the sponsors would agree publicly to be the sponsors of the repeal, so they lose their popularity that they gained, easy come, easy go, then would be able to try to manage the financial effects while reaping the state unrest level.
That's fair. That's right.
Just a question, GM. Is it every senator who votes against it gets it?
Every single senator who votes against it will lose the requisite popularity relative to the type.
And with the repeal, would it be people who vote for it also get that?
Correct.
So practically what you're saying is people with high amounts of vote, meaning our voting sponsors will need to be outweigh the majority, which none of us do, as it will equal out and not be balanced. Therefore, not possible.
Well, personally, I don't really care about the popularity loss. I think that it is a worthwhile decision to make. In our interests, I agree with Tiberius. So, dictator, obviously you have the floor to move if you wish. But I'm in agreement with you with the land bill.
Yeah, and maybe just to confirm to the Senate, the idea of doing the Type 3 would be getting our biggest bang for the unrest to talents right now, this turn, to allow the maximum amount of funds to flow into the state treasury rather than spending on expensive games, so that we can look at raising military forces to conquer wars in the coming turns, which will be used to lower the unrest. And yes, I think at this stage the popularity is not a big concern yet.
Okay. And House of Incognito, you still hold your stance on the
Stance will not change.
Pardon?
My stance will not change.
Okay.
Unless you give me some unbelievable reason that this would be just enough to support us without having the possibility of losing Rome itself, I will never support this.
Well, the immediate cost, though, is only what?
It's only 10.
Yeah, 5 or 10.
10 a turn for a Type 3, 5 a turn for a Type 2.
That's 10, and we still get to donate before that would be paid for. So,
correct.
Yeah, so the finances of Rome seem lean but stable.
But then we're paying 10 every turn from here on with no benefits, right?
Correct.
Well, but repealing it only has the negative popularity effects. It doesn't.
And we
And
get the
you also gotta
unrest
take
goes
in-
back.
And the
You gotta
unrest.
take in consideration that the senators themselves may not actually donate to the state treasury unless you all make a deal, as we've had that happen before.
Yeah, so we can make that deal.
Yeah, I'm happy to make such a deal.
Yes.
Yeah, a public deal should then be binding.
Correct. For those that agree to it, that is. Because remember, you can't force somebody to pay money, but if they pledge it, then they are obliged to pay as per the deal.
Well, obviously, the main thing is we need a combination of games and donations to make sure that we've got the treasury and the unrest going down. So I don't think everyone would need to commit to paying to the treasury. But a certain amount would need to.
Yeah.
So I think that's a discussion we should have.
So I would certainly pay to the treasury.
The House of Incognito will do a game.
Okay,
So
so
that's-
are we able to have somebody publicly commit to doing games?
I publicly admit I'll do no game.
So I can pay for a low level one, but perhaps Dictator. I don't know about your revenue, but obviously you get the population boost from doing that, which would be beneficial for a state of the republic. So you should potentially consider doing one if feasible, and if so, I would swap mine to a donation. So I'm happy to put on a game because I will have enough money, but at the same time, if you can, then I won't.
For everyone's benefit as well, if you plan to make a public deal, might I suggest that is placed in the chat, and that way there's a written record so we can easily refer to it if need be.
So yeah, as I said, I guess it depends what your thoughts, Dictator, are on that, because if some of us are going to be agreed to donating or being agreeing to games, which I think are kind of two separate public deals, then I guess what would you be doing?
I would be, well, I thought we would do the land bill before the games, but we can do it the other way around as well.
Well, it would be at the end of this turn, we would bleed into the next turn, which is when we'd be doing the donations and such. So you would get your revenue and then you could pay for the games. But it depends on how much revenue you would have. If you have enough to pay for games, whether people should be donating to you to do that.
Yep, because I'm going to be on the low end of it because I have nothing in the kitty at the moment.
Yeah, so looking at you, you'd be getting six talents, which is not low enough, which is pretty low. So I mean, perhaps we could all donate a few talents to the Dictator, and then the rest be donated or towards games, depending on what everyone else thinks.
Yep, and if I had the land commissioner, that would add another 3 as well.
Oh, good point. Yep.
Yep. Okay. Okay.
All right, lots of discussions happening. This is good.
Yep.
I see lots of people pledging in chat, I see.
Yes, Julius, here we go.
So
Julius pledges, yep. Quintus Octavius pledges to host a level 2 game to reduce by less. Great. Yep. Actilius is granted tax farmer 6. He will provide the turn 1 plus value to the max to use for games. Yep. And Julius Verenius pledges to host a level 2 Bloodfest games.
So hopefully the message of this just makes sense for everyone that I'll donate, whatever needed. I'll donate my full amount if possible to help the Dictator put on a game. Anything left over, depending on what other people donate to the Dictator, I'll donate the rest to the Treasury.
Yep.
Hopefully that's a fair agreement for everyone.
Yep. So what about donations to the Treasury? Should we get public agreements about donations to the state Treasury?
Marcus Decimus has already agreed in his one.
Yep. Well,
So I think that's the key of doing the tax or the land bill is to try to get as much income into the state treasury rather than all of us doing games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There we go. So we already have 2 people pledging state treasury. I too can pledge whatever is left over to the treasury, but there mightn't be much.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people doing games here, so
Yeah.
that might need to be balanced out, I guess. So if we just do a quick tally here, so the unrest will go down by 3 from the land bill down to 6. If the dictator hosts a tier 3 games, that will go down to 3. So we would need to make up, I guess, 3 or close to 3 from everyone else. So far we've got Quintus, Tiberius, and Lucius hosting level 2 games, which would is 1 too many. So I guess if you 3 want to discuss...
There's also a chance that if we win a war, I believe that will go down by 2.
I mean, obviously they can adjust before then.
Yeah.
So I guess you might have to add a clause about that. But I guess one of you guys would need to commit to perhaps donating to the treasury instead of games.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that if that was the case.
Okay, are you able to pop that into the chat, please?
So the commitment is that if the money isn't required by the HRAO, that I've agreed that it'll go to the treasury instead.
Okay, great.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah. Because I believe the next turn will be a very big raising of forces turn.
Yes. Okay.
That sounds like everyone, I think. So I guess that that satisfies me towards the land bill in terms of the financial situations. I don't know what everyone else thinks, but I'm satisfied.
Yep. And we're going to have enough, we think, in the kitty in the state treasury given this.
Yes, we should also mention if we have a dictator sponsor, there'll be a +4 to the popularity as well, which would be a good boost to that modifier.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so am I allowed to do the land bill and then do the tax farmer and the land commissioner?
Yep.
Okay, great. So I am going to put forward a proposal.
I think we need to do the land bill first before the land
This is the
commissioner.
land bill.
We're talking land
This
bill
is
1
land
now,
bill.
are we?
Land bill 3.
Land
So
bill
who are the sponsors?
The dictator hasn't announced it yet.
The first sponsor is going to be Julius from the House of Eurdite. And the co-sponsor was to be from the House of Justita Marita. And it's going to be
Quintus.
18.
18 will be co-sponsor.
Will be co-sponsor.
Thank you.
Correct. So I'm going to call upon votes from the pre-Byzantium.
That's 2 votes in favour, dictator.
Thank you. And Justita Marita,
7 votes in favour for the proposal.
House of Julii,
10 votes against.
I should note that this is a land bill, so you will lose popularity.
For all you senators.
Yep.
Just for my records, what type are we voting on?
Type
Type
3.
3.
Okay.
Next, Fortuna's Despair.
6 in favour.
Next is the House of Incognita.
Will he stick to his principles like Lucas did?
Five for, 5 against.
So you'll need to specify which senators are voting which way.
Flaminius and Claudius are voting against.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that makes sense. Okay, fair enough.
And Erudite faction, 6 votes for.
So it is 23 for and 15 against.
Motion carries.
Motion carries.
Okay, so for Aemilius and Flaminius, if you could deduct -2 popularity from those senators,
Claudius, not
please.
Aemilius.
Quintus Octavius, and then you need a -2 popularity to all of your senators there, please. Lucas Julius of the House of Julii.
-2, you said?
-2, that's correct. So even though it's a type 3, so type 2 and type 3 have the same popularity penalties. So it's -2 for a type 3.
question, when the actual land bill is repealed later on, if you voted against it now, is it still, if you vote for it to be repealed, is it still negative?
Correct. You lose more popularity if you vote for the repeal. That is correct.
Okay.
Good. Thank you for the person who put the type 3 land bill in the correct slot. That's very good.
No worries.
And we need to adjust the unrest.
Correct. So please reduce the unrest level. No need to touch the state treasury right now. We'll pay for the land bill later. Just the state unrest level gets to be reduced by the 3 amount.
The unrest level.
That'll go down to 6.
And don't forget the 4 popularity to yourself, Dictator.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if somebody perhaps wants to help the dictator add that popularity for the sponsor, and I'm taking it then that the co-sponsor has added his popularity. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. I think has Sulpicius had his popularity loss?
Yeah, he was at 2. So
Yeah, I thought he was. Yeah, good.
Yeah. I'm going to pass a motion that the Land Commissioner be given to Julius and the Tax Farmer 6 go to the House of Fortuna's Despair and be given to Achilles. So I'm going to first call upon the Pre-Byzantium for votes.
2 votes in favour.
Next is Justita Marita.
7 votes against.
Next is the House of Julii.
10 votes in favour.
Next is Fortuna's Despair.
6 votes in favour.
Next is House of Incognita.
10 votes abstained.
Okay, and I will do 6 votes for.
So it's 24 in favour, 7 against, 10 abstained.
Okay, so motion carries.
Carries.
The senators can grab their concessions.
Yep. Okay. So the next point of call is to raise or disband forces. So
I just want to put a point of order to the dictator. I just want to feel if the Senate is happy that we do not fulfill Standing Order Resolution number 1, as I believe the Senate has had a rousing debate and update of what our current effects are, and that I'm happy to continue on with the proposals.
As per the blue box in the forum.
Oh, sorry. I just was checking that I've understood correctly.
Yeah, I was just proposing that as Field Consul, I will not do the war update, as I believe the Senate, we've had a fairly rousing discussion upon this earlier.
Excellent. Yes, we have. Definitely. I felt that we were very well
roused.
Yes, exactly. So I just want
these concrete seats are getting very hard.
They are. So the first point of call was whether or not to raise more forces.
More forces is not necessary.
So what's the war strategy again?
So I thought that we were proposing that we were considering sending away the First Macedonian War.
Mm-hmm.
That was correct. And then we were going to
prosecute the Punic War, is that it?
Yes, the Second Punic War, the one on the right. And that was the proposal. Unless anybody has any... Yep.
I believe the proposal was actually to fight the Third Macedonian War.
Which is a imminent war, just down in a different slot.
Where are we?
Was that the proposal?
That was the proposal. The proposal was to get rid of the First Macedonian War, fight the Third Macedonian War, as it will give us income, and we would be able to sustain and hopefully win this war.
I'm having trouble finding the card for it.
It is currently next to the Curia and underneath our legions.
I'll bring it up for everybody. Stand by.
Okay.
So this is the war that you wish to fight in the imminent wars box.
Yes, there we go. More money. Yep.
So we
That
would
was-
have plenty of fleets and more than enough legion strength to prosecute this war. We probably won't even need to bring any veterans towards this battle to ensure that there's no
We
chance
do
of
not.
losing.
We only need to send 10 troops total with our Dictator and Master of Horse to get a +10.
So no legions is, I think, the right choice. No veteran legions are the right choice.
Yes, which will hopefully make us only go down to, at the lowest, 10 in terms of, not 10, 50, 10, can't speak today, 20, there we go. 20 strength, which will help us fight further wars.
All right, so we skip across the raising of forces.
Yep. And we're moving on to recalling the first where are we? The first Macedonian War is the first point of call. Is that what we do first?
That is correct.
Recalling the forces, yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then we
Does
are
that need to be a proposal?
I believe so.
It does.
okay. Can I do it in two proposals, like that we are recalling the first Macedonian and then we will be prosecuting the third?
Oh, we're calling Furious, right?
It has to be separate proposals. We discussed this last time with the
Correct.
GM.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm going to put forward a proposal that we recall the First Macedonian War and the troops there, and I'm going to call for votes from the Pre-Byzantium.
2 votes in favour.
Next, for Marcus Decimus from Justita Marita.
8 votes in favour.
Excellent. And next is the House of Julii.
10 votes in favour.
Next is Tiberius from Fortuna's Despair.
What's the bonus war votes again? Is it 2?
It's double.
So it's an additional 1 for priests, and it's double for the Pontifex Maximus. His personal votes, that is.
Right, okay. Just let me...
So it'd be
So
an
not
additional
doubling your
2.
total votes, it's doubling only the Pontifex Maximus's personal votes.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's 8
An
votes in
additional,
favour.
yeah.
Excellent. And now the House of Incognita.
I would like to vote 10 for.
Excellent. And I have 6 votes for the Erudite faction.
That's 44 in favour. Motion's carried.
Excellent.
Now, can I just request as a point of interest, Scriber, how did you understand that proposal? Can you read back that proposal?
Yeah, it's Julius number 4 proposes recalling Furious number 8 from the Macedonian War. First Macedonian.
And the troops.
And the troops? Because I heard,
Yes.
all I heard from the dictators, the proposal was the recalling of troops, nothing about the commander. Not that that's a problem. I just wanted to clarify what the Senate heard as the proposal then. What was your intent there, Dictator?
It was that Furious and the troops would be coming back.
Yep, duly noted. All right, just I guess that's a good word for everybody. Just make sure you're very clear in your proposal so that we know, but it sounds like the scriber has heard what was intended, so that's very good. So Commander Furious has returned now, so we can remove the away from Rome marker on him, and I'll deal with the other markers up here. And the troops are now going back to the active forces box. That's good.
Okay.
I'm happy to interpret proposals. It might be in my favour, but that's what everybody's comfortable with.
Well, if you,
like to vote
technically
against that.
speaking, laws can only be interpreted by the presiding magistrate. So it's good to understand what the presiding magistrate's intent is.
High Court Justice would disagree with that, but leave that to one side.
Okay. Excellent. So the next proposal is that we are going to prosecute the Third Macedonian War, and we are going to be sending the dictator.
Just a point of order,
Yep.
Dictator. If we were to complete this proposal and send the dictator off to war, this would end the Senate phase. I believe there's some medals that may need to be handed out before we complete the Senate phase.
Wow. Thank you.
And
Yes.
and can I just ask Decimus Aurelius' point of order? We don't vote on sending a war away, do we? That's simply the HRAO's decision at the end of the term.
Correct.
So no need for a proposal.
Okay, so first of all, there is a medal for Aemilius, number 19. So there are actually 2 medals: the Eagle of Supremacy for taking no legion losses in a battle, and a Roman defense medal with Sicilian slave revolt for defeating a notable revolt. So if Aemilius could come forward and take those medals.
Very good.
Thank you.
Aurelius gladly accepts these to add to his collection.
Yeah.
So there's
The-
2. Yep.
The weight of Rome bears heavy on his chest.
I mean, Aurelius alone in his family has gotten 7 medals himself.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
If you value pieces of tin,
10 medals.
I value winning wars, guys. Obviously, the Senate doesn't, since we sent Fabius to death. But, that's fair.
Next, we have medals for Furius, number 8, if he could come forward and take his medal, and then Macedonian campaign medals for service in the Macedonian War. Thank you, Furius.
thank you.
And
Too bad he
Julius-
couldn't win.
Yeah,
I
standing there shouting at the Macedonians.
Furious Nick Julius's medal as well.
And there was one for Julius
Alright.
as well, too.
Sorry.
It's okay.
We tried.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for that. Excellent.
Very good. That's all medals.
Beautiful. Thank you, Marcus.
Well done to our latest war veterans.
Yes.
Yeah.
So next is the proposal that we are going to prosecute. We're going to send Julius, the dictator, and we're the master of horse as well.
Just to help you out there, Dictator, I believe that
Yep.
would be 10 regular legions and
Mhm.
5 fleets in order to support that
Yeah.
particular.
we
I,
won't-
I like
yeah, we
to
weren't
like to be
adding any
specific.
more.
That's good.
Yes.
That is the exact math I got as well.
Excellent. So the proposal is that we are going to prosecute the Third Macedonian War, and then we're going to be sending 10 regular troops and 5 fleets, and we're going to be sending Julius as dictator, and also, where are we?
By default, Cornelius shall be joining his
Yes.
dictator
Yes,
as master of horse.
excellent. So
And which is the war? The Third Macedonian, right?
Third Macedonian War. So I'm going to call for votes from Pre-Byzantium.
2 votes in favour.
Now for Justita Marita.
8 votes in favour.
Excellent. And the House of Julii.
10 votes in favour.
The Fortuna's Despair.
8 in favour.
Excellent. House of Incognita.
10 votes in favour.
And 6 votes in favour from the Erudite faction.
So 44 votes in favour, and the motion is carried.
Excellent.
All right. That concludes our Senate phase. We're just doing some admin and getting that set up right now. If I could ask the Master of Horse to bring up the war card from the Imminent Wars box as well.
Do we want to do it this phase yet, just to confirm that we wait till the Senate phase is done and we send away the First Macedonian War, just so we don't do things out of order?
That's fine for the setup now because, I guess, logistically, I suppose we better make sure that, in order to be able to successfully execute this war, that the first is sent away. So perhaps right now, with the closure of the Senate to the HRAO, and which is, I guess, still the dictator at this point, if you'd like to nominate, based on our event card, which war you're sending away.
Oh. Okay, so we get to send away one of the wars.
It was the First Macedonian War, I believe, Dictator.
Yes, I thought we already did that.
No,
That
that is what happens now.
It doesn't come
did,
into
yeah.
effect now, and this is when you get to make your choice as the presiding or the highest ranking member to officially decide that.
Well, I am officially deciding that the First Macedonian War will be sent away.
All right.
So do we receive the talents? Yes.
No, we do
it's
not
a
receive
revolt.
any.
Okay.
Yes, because we defeated the second before we faced the first.
Yeah.
And just looking at the cheat sheet, Dictator, you also get to take your land commissioner money now,
Oh, how much is that?
I believe.
No, not quite. That's just a check to make sure that the land commissioner can in fact stay where it is, which is the case.
Sorry.
No, all income is received during the income phase.
That's why we have a master here. Thank you, Decimus.
All right. What happened to our first Macedonian War?
I moved that down into the sandpit.
Very good. All right, let me do my mysterious roll now to see where it goes in the top 6. So I'm just looking at the New Alliance card here, which is what we've got here. And as it states there, it will be shuffled into the top 6 of the deck. And you guys are not going to know the outcome of this roll. Okay, I've got the magic number there. I'm now going to move that card away from the forum just so there's no confusion. And move that off into a secret area over here. Very good. Into the darkness. And that will come back out as per my die roll, which represents the shuffling into the top of the deck. Look, I'm still not certain with what we've done was legal there. Noting that, the Senate is obliged to fight wars in order as they appear, but considering that, the Third Macedonian was in fact an imminent. We've sent that away, it then activates, so that would oblige the Senate to fight the first, but then we send that away. It's an interesting hypothesis, and this would certainly go to the rules wizards to see whether what was done was legal or not. In the end, I'm not phased. What is done is done, and I'm happy for it to proceed. We certainly will do some research in the back end just for future knowledge to see if that particular order of events was permitted. It's an interesting rules case here in what is an already complex game. But good job, everyone, for getting to where we are now. So yes, we see Dictator Julius and his Master of Horse Cornelius now fighting the Third Macedonian War, having now sent the First Macedonian War away back into the deck. And we will eventually see that in the future. What we'll do is we can probably remove the New Alliance card now. We're well aware that's been enacted. Although that would normally be removed at the start of the forum phase, but I'm going to take that away now just as a measure and a reminder that we have executed that card correctly. Cool. Well, that will now complete our Senate phase because we have sent our dictator off to war, and as the HRO leaves, that will close the Senate. So at this point in time, noting it is now 9:30 p.m. past, on local time anyway, we're just going to take a break, give our senators a leg stretch, refresh their beverages or their Posca, and we'll come back in about 5 minutes. So, senators, you can step away. Everybody else in chat, please hang around, watch some commercials. We'll be back in about 5 minutes' time. Thank you very much. Okay, we are back after our break. We are welcoming back all of our senators. We are now ready and raring to go. We were just discussing in the background some of the logistics, and we're also noting that because the Senate is sending a force against this Third Macedonian War, which is still attacking the province of Illyricum, we will note that Calpurnius here is no longer or will not be required to fight the provincial war in this case because the Senate is doing it on his behalf, and we know that Sicilia is currently free of any conflict right now under the gracious rule of Aelius from the Eurdite faction. So it'll just be the one conflict this evening, and hopefully a successful one at that. We saw the First Macedonian War disappeared into the deck to be revealed again at some point within the next 6 cards, thanks to the New Alliance event card that we have now actioned at the end of the Senate phase. So let's get stuck into the combat phase now with the one and only war under the direction of Dictator Julius. Let's go through and do our normal numbers, mostly for me and also for the benefit of those playing at home. So first of all, can we have the total strength, including Commander and Master of Horse ratings for the Senate forces, please?
18.
18 is the total strength. So that's the Dictator plus the Master of Horse plus the legions that we see here, which appears to be a total of, 10 legions plus 8 in total up here. Very good. We meet the requisite fleet support. So we are requiring 5 fleets, and we have 5 fleets in support. So we are able to execute the land war. And now let's double check the force of the enemy. And what is the strength of the enemy force?
8.
It is 8. And what are our danger numbers there?
8 for a disaster, and a standoff will be a 14.
Okay, I'm now going to scroll the view down to the combat results table. There it is. Bring it up on screen. Okie dokie. All right, we're now going to cross to the Dictator. Dictator, it is now up to you to roll a 3d6. We're going to add Now, what is our difference modifier here? 10?
Plus 10.
We're going to add plus 10 to a 3d6. And so at your leisure, Dictator, you can go ahead and commit your forces and attack.
Should I ask the Pontifex Maximus to say a few words?
If you like.
Pontifex Maximus, would you like to say 4 or 5 words?
Maximus caught short. Really seldom short for words, but a little unprepared this time. Good luck to Mighty Rome and to the leaders, the brave leaders in the field, and our men. Bring home victory and receive all the plaudits therein that will be yours.
Thank you so much. And so we shall do as such.
We have 11 plus 10, which is always good to get off the charts, and we have not rolled an 8 and we have not rolled a 14. So, ladies and gents, that's a victory. A flawless one too, might I add.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure 22 is not on the chart and is greater than 18.
Yes.
Nice.
Come join us in the Eagle of Supremacy Club.
Yeah, there's another Eagle of Supremacy. I tell you, the Eagle of Supremacy factory is pumping them out hot. Until I wish there was a concession for it. That would be good. First of all, let's go ahead. Let's do some random stuff out of order. I'm going to pick the Veteran Legion first today. So I'm now going to use my secret button here. All right. Now, do we have... I'm just checking my number here. What is close to that? Yes, I see... No, not that one. I'll press the gun again. Here we go. Now, is there a 23rd or a 24th or a 25th Legion? I can see a 25th. There we go. So, if, maybe Master of Horse, if you'd like to upgrade the 25th Legion, they are now going to become veteran status.
Oh, there it is, that one.
So we'll do that slowly first. Now, if I could please request of Nemurius Aurelius, if you're there, we're now going to add the popularity and influence to Julius for his victory. So we're going to half the strength of the war, so from 8 to 4. So if you could please add 4 influence and 4 popularity to Julius, please.
Can do.
That'll bring him up to a total of 8 popularity and 19 on influence, if my maths is correct there.
Yes.
With no losses, we don't have to roll for death chits, which is always lovely.
Well, that'll help us save the Republic immensely.
That's right. Now, if I could also request of the Master of Horse, now that the Legion's been upgraded, let's go ahead and add 35 talents to the State Treasury.
Aye, aye.
And maybe we can ask the scriber Tiberius Cornelius if you'd like to reduce the unrest level by 1 for the victory, please.
Can do.
Good teamwork, everyone. Good. Markers, lots of things going everywhere. Good. Good to see the unrest level down 1 more. We're updating the State Treasury. Good. Okay.
Treasury's been updated.
Perfect. Now, we're going to make sure that the Julius has the Veteran Allegiance marker. So, Master of Horse, if you could please get Julius the 25th Legion Allegiance marker as well, that would be very helpful.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Don't want Julius to miss out on that either. All right, we are nearly there. Now, as we discussed before, we do not need to do any provincial combat here. Sicilia is fine and is safe and is not under attack right now. And because the Senate was able to attack the Macedonian War, we now see that Illyricum is no longer under attack. So we can actually remove that marker to start with and pop that over there. So
income.
So yes, right, Calpurnius will be able to earn some income for that governorship. That's pretty cool. And now we can send the third Macedonian off to the discard pile, which is lovely. Get another war off out of the active forces box. We'll pop that there. So right, any other Macedonian wars from here, which is just the first and the fourth to go. So the first will be a revolt. The fourth Macedonian war, if and when it pops out, will be eligible for money if you guys defeat that, because that'll just be in consecutive order. But the first Macedonian war that you've went and hid away will now only be a revolt.
Yep, and was a revolt from this turn as well.
Right. Okay, so that's good. We've done everything we need to do for the combat phase there now. We can now move into just double checking on unprosecuted wars. Everything else is already on the prosecuted wars box, so that's fine. We can look at war exhaustion. Thankfully, no wars are at age 6, so that Second Punic War is getting on, but otherwise it's less than 6, so we're okay there. So just a reminder for everybody, with war exhaustion rules that we're employing, if any war with an age marker of 6 or more is not defeated, we won't see a case of more. That will result in the loss of all players at this point in time, should that occur. So just keep an eye on that Second Punic War. I know the first one got a bit old before we attacked it as well, but just again to make sure you guys are aware. Okay, that will now conclude the combat phase. I'm happy with that now. So let's now move into the revolution phase. We're now going to talk about some voluntary retirements. Now, noting the dictator is out of the office right now, the next highest ranking available official is the Rome Consul. So we're going to go pop over here to Pre-Byzantium, just double check to see if anybody is eligible for voluntary retirement and wants to take it. So nobody at Pre-Byzantium is eligible. Let's move on. Eurdite faction, nobody is eligible here, I think. Just having a sneaky look at Aurelius. No, okay. Cross to the House of Incognita, nobody meets the requirements there. Down to Fortuna's Despair, nobody meets requirements here. Now we do see Papirius has the minimum 20 influence, but otherwise is not old enough, so he hasn't reached that age 7 yet, so nobody's eligible there. Cross to the House of Julii, nobody is eligible here. Again, Sulpicius has the minimum 20, but is not of age to consider retirement. Justia Marita, I don't think anybody here is of influence or age. Okay, so no voluntary retirements at this point in time. Cool. Moving on, let's talk about intrigue steps. Again, opening it up to the floor. If anybody wants to freely trade cards from their hand right now, they may do so. Is there anybody that wishes to do any sort of trading right now? I'm seeing a lot of head shakes. Nobody needs or wants to trade. All right. In that case, then, let's again go back to the highest ranking available official with Pre-Byzantium. We're now going to double check if they'd like to play any cards from the hand, statesmen's or concessions. So, Numerius Aurelius, anything from you at this point in time?
No.
Nothing from you. Okay. Cross to the Eurdite faction. Would you like to play any concessions or anything from your hand at this point in time? Any statesmen's? No, none from you. Now, at this point as well, you also get to determine whether your victorious commander would like to disband their legion for +1 influence and oratory. Is that something you'd like Julius to take up at this time? Noting that only returning victorious commanders get to do this.
And we lose our veteran, correct?
Correct. You would lose your veteran. He would be otherwise retired, but could be recalled.
Oh. I thought it was usual that we would be recalling Julius.
So let me re-explain. This is about disbanding your veteran legion.
Oh.
So if you choose to do this, this is an optional step only for returning victorious commanders. So in other words, if you plan to rebel, you can't do this. So this is generally an early indicator if you're planning to return peacefully. If you plan to disband your new 25th Veteran Legion, you will gain 1 influence and 1 oratory for Julius, at which point in time you can then, at a future Senate phase, choose to recall that legion at your pleasure for the cost of 10 talents from his personal treasury. for the use of the Senate once more. So almost it's like you can bandy an extra additional power, but noting that the Senate would then lose that veteran legion until you decide to recall it. So it's an optional step for you to consider right now.
Because I don't remember anybody else doing that.
Nobody has chosen to do that at this stage.
Okay. Yeah.
If you happen to do it, you'd be the first one to disband a legion upon return, and you can only do it in your turn of returning.
Forgive me, but I don't quite understand by disbanding. So I'm breaking them up.
Correct, exactly. So we are removing this legion as an active force for the Senate to use. So it's a very personal gain that you're getting from this. By disbanding the legion, you're gaining influence and oratory.
Fight other wars as well too. Yeah. No, I will not be disbanding the legions.
Sure, not a problem. Okie dokie. Let's move on to the next one. House of Incognita. Any cards you'd like to play at this point in time?
No, there is not.
Sorry, you're a little bit quiet there for me.
No.
No, good, thank you. I heard it that time. I just had to turn my volume up a little bit. All right. Fortunatus Despair. Any cards you'd like to play at this point in time?
No, thank you.
Okay. House of Julii. Any cards you'd like to play at this time?
No, thank you.
Okay. And then finishing off with Justia Marita. Any cards that you'd like to play at this time?
No, thank you.
All right. Nobody needs to discard cards. I think everybody's under that 5-card limit. Yes. Very good. And we will finalise the process of returning forces to Rome. So let's go back to the Eurdite faction and Julius and his chaperone, Marcoedia. So Marcoedia, do you peacefully hand your forces back to the Senate and stand down all your military actions and give the forces back to the Senate?
Yes, I am giving the forces back to the Senate, standing down and returning home.
Very, very good. All right, so we can perhaps ask the Master of Horse if you'd like to bring the forces back to the active forces box. I'll put the commanders back in their commanders box out of the way. I'll send them up there now. We'll polish that off. Good. They're back. And I'll take these tokens back to their house as well. I'll just leave them there for the moment. Okay. So all of our forces are home. Very good. Hopefully they don't play up, cause strife. We can now see, yes, Julius is back home, and as is the Master of Horse. Yes, Cornelius can remove his away from Rome marker. And that will conclude that turn. So now let's flip over the page. Let's go back to and commence a mortality phase now, ladies and gents. The mortality phase. We have no imminent wars to consider, considering we just got rid of one. And we're now going to age the wars first of all. So, Numerus Aurelius, if you're nice and close, if you don't mind assisting us here, if you could please age the First Sicilian Pirates to 2 and the Second Punic War to 4, please. That would be very good to age our wars.
Can do.
And everybody else can now start with the aging of their senators. So please be mindful of who is aging to what age. For some reason over in the House of Incognita, I'm seeing multiple age tokens across 2 senators there, which is a bit odd, unless there's some changes already occurring. That's probably, you've already started. That's good. Okay, in that case then, yes, please start aging your senators, aging them up by 1 accordingly. I will age Calpurnius in the middle.
Decimus Aurelius, just a quick point. The tokens for the wars are behind them.
Yep, I'll fix that.
Please fix that. Thank you.
Okay, so I've aged Calpurnius, the unaligned senator, in the middle. Now, Marco, do you need assistance?
I think I'm okay. I'm just managed to lose them behind a white thing, but I think I found them again.
All right.
There they are. 4, 4, 6, 4.
All right, while everyone's aging their senators, for all the non-subscribers, we're on a quick ad break. Everyone else can watch the aging of senators here. Hey, Poach Trout's here. Hello to Poach Trout, who's joined us. Salway to you. I think you were around in time to see the war victory, which is good. Excellent. All right, we're nearly ready. Just waiting for the last of the senators to age. Is there anybody still aging senators right now? Everybody done? Give me some thumbs up across the cameras. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks like 6. So Poach Trout asked when the Second Punic War reaches maximum age. So we've just seen it age to 4 now. So they'll get to go through another mortality phase to get a 5th, and they actually get to go again. So it'll still get to age to a 6th, and it is on that turn that they must successfully prosecute and win a victory against the Second Punic War in the year that it turns 6, in order for them not to lose. And Hannibal to gain victory. So certainly I wouldn't want to be in the position of attempting to win victory on its 6th age. I'd like to see it done on its 5th, or even in this coming Senate and combat phase. But you know, that's just me, and I'm just the guy narrating right in the background. So we'll see what the Senate does with that war card. Okay, let's go through and finishing our aging senators here for the mortality phase. Let's duck up to the... Well, we've got the highest ranking available official back now, so let's start with the Eurdite faction for aging purposes. So let's roll in. Let's see the age of senators here. So we've got a 4, a 6, and a 4. Nobody needing to do a survival roll there, so let's move on. House of Incognita, we have... Manlius is 3, Emilius is 4, Flaminius is 6, and we see Claudius is age 7, so he's going to do a roll there. A 1d6 there, please, Quintus Octavius. Just don't roll a 6. Rolls a 2, good. So Claudius will get to live another year. That's fantastic. Well done to Claudius for hanging around. Let's scroll down to Fortuna's Despair now. We have a 6-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old. Nobody needing to do rolls there. House of Julii, a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 6-year-old. Nobody to do anything there. Justia Marita, we have a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old. Again, no age rolls there. Up to Pre-Byzantium, a 6-year-old. Nobody needing to do anything there. So that is nice and quick. Not a lot of old people. Not a lot of old senators. Okay, let us now conclude the mortality phase. Let's now move into the revenue phase, and let's do our personal revenue like we normally do. So you guys know what to do. Please commence doing that. I'll rattle off in the background just as a reminder for you, but also for those watching. So 3 talents for your faction leaders. It's 1 talent for all of your other senators. Pontifex Maximus gets to roll a 1d6 to add to his 1 talent, unless, of course, he's a faction leader, so he'll add that to his base 3, depending on what's going on. So, yes, Pontifex Maximus rolls 1d6 and will add that to his 3 talents, so he rolls a 1. There you go. Not very good, but he'll get 4 talents as that particular individual this turn. Don't forget to get 1 talent per night as well, ladies and gents, and make sure you take your concessions. Concessions are not optional unless they are the shipbuilder or armaments. They are paid for at a particular time or are paid out at a particular time, so you will not get corruption on those just yet, but all other concessions will, so all the tax farmers, the Sicilian grain or the Egyptian grain, the land commissioner you'll also take at this time as well. Now, don't forget to have a read of your concessions, because there are some which can often give you additional... but make sure you clear those with me, because you usually require certain effects like a drought to be in effect or a drought event. Okay. If you're wanting for me to verify how much you've earned, just let me know and we can double check your sums. We'll do governors in a minute, ladies and gents. We'll do governors in just a moment. Everyone else can add up. I'll start to zoom in on the governorships ready. Let's... So we know that Calpurnius won't be taking provincial spoils, because that's not what he does as an underlined senator. Good boy. Anybody requiring any assistance? All right, so I'm just going to have a look over here. Okay, so I will note publicly there is currently a drought in effect. Is that correct? Is there a war card showing a drought?
The
pirates.
The pirates is giving a drought.
The pirates is giving a drought effect right now. So, and this is just for everybody's learning influence understanding as well. So, Flaminius here is activating on his Egyptian grain concession. He's going to take a voluntary ×2 concession income and -2 popularity with that drought in effect. There is only the one drought in effect right now, so there's no other modifiers on that. So he's actually going to take 10 talents for that individual and going to add -2 popularity to the maximum amount that he can have there. So what was he already on? -8, was he?
Yeah, so he's gone just to 9.
So he's going to go to -9. You've pulled out a -1 there.
Yeah, I was going to try and get a 0 or something. Just chuck him on 10.
Yeah, -9 is the max popularity loss you can have. So you won't drop any further than -9. Now, again, there's some doubt as to whether, because you can't take the -2 popularity in total, that you're eligible to take the extra grain concession, but I'm allowing it here. That is something we can verify in the back end.
Other -1 on Claudius.
Not required at this point in time, but make sure, right, instead of 5, you'll get 10 for that particular individual senator. But for everybody else, and including House of Incognito, as per Pavor, you can freely redistribute your income now between senators, between faction treasuries, and between players. So if you're making any trades of talents between other players and other factions, you may also do that now as well.
Is this where we honour our public commitments as well?
Only if you agreed to give money to other players.
All right. Well, I agreed to give 3, as it's worked out to be, talents to the HRAO, or the dictator. So
right,
that's on its way now.
So I also agreed to give a percentage to the dictator. So how much did you require?
What is it? 18 in total.
Yes, for the game.
I have 13 there, plus the 3 from Tiberius.
Yeah, I'll give you.
So that's 16.
I'll give you 2 then.
Okay, thank you. Yep.
Which was part of my deal. There you are.
Very honourable.
Was there anybody else that had a public deal there to give some money? Right, we'll just let the Eurdite faction process that for the moment. Take your time to consider what you're doing with those funds. Good, I'm just making some notes just to check some of the rules at the end of this session. Very good. Perfect. Okay, is there anybody still doing income right now? Okay, so let's finish off the income for personal players. Let's zoom in on the province, the only province that we need to do this for right now, and that is Sicilia. And just ask the question to Aelius and Marcoetti as the custodian there. Will Aelius be looking to take provincial spoils for this turn?
Alias.
Yes.
How much is the provincial spoils?
So the provincial spoils is worth 1d6 to you. You'll gain. Well, he's already got a corruption, so there's been no change there.
Well, then let's roll a 1d6.
Let's roll a 1d6. So go ahead and roll a 1d6 and let's see how you go.
I think last time I did this, I rolled a 1.
And you rolled one again.
Oh.
So go ahead and add 1 additional talent to your total there.
Okay. Yep.
Alrighty, and let's talk about province developments. So let's start with Calpurnius. I'll do the roll for Calpurnius to see if we can develop this province over here. It'll be a 1d6 and a 5 or a 6 will get this province developed. Here we go. Nope. He does not. He does not develop the province. Let's go back to Aelius and Marcoedia. If you'd like to roll a 1d6 and get a 6 to try and develop Sicilia.
Okay,
Be better than a 1.
Yep, let's try again.
Oh, wow. You did it.
Yay.
You have managed to develop a province. Wow. All right. So bear with me. I'm now going to go pick up the developed province card from our top right pile here. This is good. This is our first developed province.
And this is before we collect the state income, correct?
Yeah. It is.
As long as I roll good when it matters, you know?
That's right.
This is a good one, really.
Yeah.
What is the development? Do you get to choose? Is it like a granary? Barracks?
Not quite. So you just see, you'll see in just a moment. The province will have additional stats, which are normally better and in favour of the Senate. Here, there it is. There's Sicilia.
We'll choose whatever one gives it more money.
Plus 50 influence.
So I'll bring it down side by side comparison, and I'll bring up the card in full value here on screen so you can all see it. So zooming in for everybody. You can now see provincial spoils are now worth 1d6 plus 4. State income is now 1d6 plus 2 compared to the original 2d6 minus 2. And local taxes are now worth 40 instead of 30. And otherwise, no other major changes to the board there. So very good. We now have developed province. So certainly worth more in provincial spoils. I don't know how the state income comes out probability-wise. So let's just double-check dimensions. I'm going to grow the size of this card. 3 by 200. There we go. Let's do that. Advanced set dimensions. 300 by 200. I'll remove the old province card here.
Yeah. If we have a guess to say that on average you roll 3s on your 1d6, if it's 2d6 minus 2, 3, 3, 6 minus 2 is averaging round 4. If we go 1d6 equals 3 plus 2 would be averaging about 5. So it sounds like about 1 talent extra to the Senate at a very rough math.
Sure. Not bad. Okay, the other thing we also need to note is Aelius now gets some influence for developing that province as well. Who wants to tell me how much that is?
2 or 3?
Which one is it?
50.
2.
And I would like to hear the rule number quoted as well.
You're asking too much of me.
Hard master.
And for those that are looking at the cheat sheet, that might be a quick way to work it out. Anyone?
Here we go.
It's on the cheat sheet.
8 turns, defending attack.
Jeez, to make me find it.
Particularly for the governor, who gets to have the influence. Look in the province development row in the revenue phase.
3.
There you go. So Aelius gets an additional 3 influence, so he'll go from 3 to 6. And just to make things nice and easy, perhaps if you, Numerius Aurelius, if you could assist Aelius with that to get his additional 3 influence for being an awesome governor, that would be great.
Great.
Perfect. Now we can talk about state revenues and debts. So everybody pull out your calculators and your notepad and pens. We'll do our running tallies here and get a final number. So everybody ready? I've got my little notepad here too. First of all, add a plus 100 talents at the top of your page. That will be the base income for the state. Next, we're going to ask about contributions to the state to see who would like to do this. Let's start with the highest ranking available official, which is from the Eurdite faction. So, Marcoedia, is anybody donating to the state treasury at this point in time?
Yes, Aelius will be donating 1 talent.
Aelius is going to donate 1 talent, so I'm going to add +1 to our running tally.
+1.
All right, no rewards there, but nonetheless you can still donate it. So you can bank that talent, but we're not going to touch the state treasury just yet. We're just going to add that to our running math calculator or pen and paper for the moment. So yep, go ahead and bank that 1 talent. Good. Anybody else donating to the state treasury there?
Not today.
Okay. Because that's right, as it reads there, every senator can donate talents to the state treasury. Okay, let's go to the House of Incognita. House of Incognita. Anybody donating to the state treasury today?
The house declines.
The House declines. Down to Fortuna's despair. Anybody donating to the state treasury today?
No, decline as well, thank you.
Declining as well, thank you. House of Julii. Anybody donating to the state treasury today?
Sorry, can we?
Hang on, wasn't. Go on.
Yeah, so we only need 2 people to do games. I believe that Tiberius, you said that that if only 2 people are required, you would donate to the treasury instead.
Well, I've already given my 3 to Marco because that's the only time I can do it.
Well, I'll read the message. If donation is not required by the HRA. Oh, okay. Yep. No, I read the message. Yep.
All good?
Yep.
Perfect.
Well, I was
the formatting?
assuming. So I thought the original agreement was that Tiberius was going to donate to that. Quintus and I were going to do a games.
Yes, so he did give money to Marco already.
And I believe
Okay.
at the end of it, it said any remaining money goes to the state treasury.
Yeah, if the donation is not required.
It says it will go to the treasury. It doesn't say that he will donate all money to the treasury.
Okay, he's
He'll
talking about
provide
the 3.
yes, he says that he'll give the tax farmer and the Pontifex Maximus, which was donated. So he's clear.
Okay.
Is everybody happy that the public deal has been met?
Well, I
Yes.
just need to clarify because if he now does a games, then I won't be able to do a game, so my money will just be sitting there. So
Why wouldn't you be able to do a games?
Yeah, I don't
probably-
think he's going to do
Interests.
games.
It probably depends what sort of games Marco's going to do, because if she does, Marco, if you do only where are the games?
Can I just clarify?
Only a slice and dice, then we'll have an unrest level of 0, and then you can donate the remaining money to the treasury.
Well, we can't.
She
do
should be-
games later, right?
No, she should be doing the Gladiator Gala, which is what we donated towards, which is -3, which would then only require 1 other set of games at a tier 2 to be done, if possible, or two ones.
Well, just don't want to be in a position where we can't do games because the unrest is now at 0. And
Hang on. You can do games at any level, irrespective of what the unrest level is.
Yeah, but we have to donate to the treasury now, so we need to figure out who's
Yeah.
doing the games because it was dependent on only a certain amount of people would be doing games, and then a certain amount
The
would be
House of
donated to the treasury.
Incognito was the first person to say they were going to do games as usual, and it's not changing.
But what level will you be doing?
2, level 2.
Perhaps given the circumstances, we could accept House of Julii donating the same amount of money that would pay for games to the state treasury.
Well,
Yeah, that's a game. That's right. I mean, if we got the games covered, I'll donate.
Which we do. We're
Yeah, well,
effectively
Marco and Quintus together would cancel out all the unrest levels, so the rest should be donations.
Okay. Then Fulvius will donate 10 to the state.
All right. And is everybody happy that all the public agreements are being met in intent?
Yes.
Yes.
For now.
yes, for now and for good.
Okay, 10 talents is coming from the personal treasury of Fulvius of the House of Julii. 10 talents will give him 1 influence, so he'll go from 4 to 5. We'll give him a moment to bank that.
Yep, on its way.
And we're going to add plus 10 to our running tally. Make sure you bring back a number 5 influence token on your way back from the bank, so you can add that to Fulvius. Will there be any other senators from your faction donating to the state treasury today?
No, there will not.
All right. I'll let you finish the banking and the influencing there, and we'll be able to move on for state treasury donations. Justia Marita, anybody from you?
Quintus will be donating 10 talents to the state treasury.
Very good. So we're going to add another plus 10 to our running total and calculator. Go ahead and bank those 10 talents from Quinticus. And by all means, grab an additional plus 1 influence to add to his tally. So he'll go from 6 to 7 by the looks of it. There we go. That money zips off to the bank. I can feel that lining my pockets. Am I the bank?
The central banker.
Yes. Good. Okay. That's taken care of. Let's go up to pre-Byzantium. Anybody donating to the State Treasury today?
Yes, Julius will donate 5 talents.
5 talents. We're going to add 5 talents to our running total. Unfortunately, 5 talents isn't worth anything for him individually, but nonetheless, that's 5 talents that will go for the bank and for the state. So that's good. That's also added to our running total. Okay, that is the everybody around the loop for state contributions. Now let's talk about debts. So, who wants to tell me the current total debt for all of our active forces in the active forces box?
40. Sorry, apologies.
3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27.
46.
Should be 54, no?
54 as well, I think. What
Yeah, 54. That's right, yep.
Okay, I'm hearing several for 54. We're all happy with 54?
Yep.
Good. Okay, so we're gonna put minus 54 on our running total so far for debts. Okie dokie. Now, the other thing I think we have forgotten is provincial state income, so we better go back and do that first. Why didn't you guys remind me? All right, so let's go look at Illyricum and Calpurnius. We're going to do a state income gathering from there. That's a 1d. It's a minus 1d6 minus 1, so I'm going to roll this. And knowing your guys' luck, it'll be a really high roll. So let's pull out the 1d6 here. Let's roll these apples. We have minus 3, minus 1, which is minus 4. So everybody add minus 4 to your running total for the state income there. Down to Sicilia with the new state income under Aelius. So we're going to ask the governor and Marcoedia to roll 1d6 now. We're going to add our modifiers there, and we'll see what happens.
What was the previous modifier that we just added or subtracted?
It was minus 4 talents.
Minus 4.
So we'll ask Marcoedia to roll the 1d6 here.
Yep.
3 plus 2 is 5. There we go. So we're going to add plus 5 to our running total. Very good. Next from here, we are now going to minus 20 talents for every active and unprosecuted war. So zooming out, and we'll just double check. We can see we've only got 2 active wars right now, which is the First Sicilian and the Second Punic War. So go ahead and add minus 40 to our running total. Minus 40, everybody. And finally, we now need to deduct the land bill. Currently it's a type 3, which is costing us 10 per year, so minus 10 to our tally. So I'm going to read back the numbers for everybody before you hit your equals button or you do your total sum. So we've got plus 100 talents, plus 1, plus 10, plus 10, plus 5, minus 54, minus 4, plus 5, minus 40, and minus 10. And who's got a total sum?
23.
I agree.
I see multiple yays for a 23 talents. If there are no objections, if I could ask Nemurius Aurelius to add 23 talents to the 94 in the State Treasury, please.
What do you know? When the,
Take us to
when the
117.
factions keep their words, we actually go positive.
Yes, a shout out to Poach Trout's website. I'll have to maybe if you whisper me the link, Poach Trout. I think I can add it in chat. But there's a really good income function generator on that webpage for people to look at and try out. I posted it to our Facebook group as well. If you'd also like to investigate that software and the website that Poach Trout has put together. And we're hoping he'll add some more stuff to that website and it'll continue to grow. So yeah, let's get that link up on our social media and in the chat here. Yeah, you'll have to whisper it to me. I don't think I've got links enabled, Poach Trout. Okay, we've seen the State Treasury updated. We're now at 117 talents on the State Treasury, an unrest level of 5. And we are now going to ask the governors about local forces. So let's go and look at there. Now, we noticed that For Illyricum, the local tax is only 5. We've talked about how there's nothing that says that Calpurnius will use his personal funds to supplement that, so he's unable to raise any additional funds right now. Now, one thing we need to note is we do have a manpower shortage right now. I'm pretty sure the manpower shortages would potentially affect provincial forces as well. So what we're going to do is just quickly consult our advanced rules here and have a look if this could potentially affect the raising of provincial forces. Okay, so let's have a look. Just a moment. Go to the advanced rules section. Okay, section 2.02. So it talks here in rule 2.02.3 in the advanced rules section here. It says, quite plainly, it says it costs 10 talents to build an army or fleet. Must raise as many provincial forces as possible. But I'd like to make some notes here that there is comparisons between legions and provincial forces. So, for example, when you lose provincial forces, there is no popularity loss for the loss of provincial forces, which we've worked out in previous turns when we've seen that happen. So in the case here where we don't consider them equal, I guess the same modifier would also be here. So even though there is a manpower shortage right now, I do not believe that manpower shortage affects provincial forces. But it's a note I'm going to make. We'll double check for future reference. But right now here, so governors can raise provincial forces as they see fit, and they can ignore that manpower shortage. But that's something for us to investigate later. So let's go to the Governor Aelius of Sicilia and Marcavedia. So noting right now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legions out of 10 and 3 fleets, provincial fleets out of 5. Would you like to use your 40 local taxes to raise some provincial forces?
Yes.
Okay, what would you like to raise with that 40?
So I think I am only allowed to raise up to 5 fleets. Isn't that correct?
That is correct. A maximum of 5.
And I think I can only raise 1 more troops. Is that
4.
correct?
You can have up to 10.
4 more. Okay. Well, I will raise 4 more troops and 1 more fleet.
So that's in excess of your local taxes. Are you supplementing that with an additional 10 talents?
No, I won't be supplementing. Sorry. So I can only I'll just raise 4 troops.
4 troops? Certainly.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll go up to our provincial troop pool here and pull out now another 4.
Thank you.
All right, we'll drag those down
Fortress
to
Sicily.
Yeah, look,
My word.
it is well and truly armed up. Very successful Roman province. Very successful Roman province.
I pity the slave results when they come.
Yeah. All right, we've now concluded the revenue phase. We just what we need to do is adjust the term dials. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to see Sicilia reduced to 1, and we're going to add a 2 for Calpurnius. So I'll go ahead. I'll do that for you here. So I'm going to move that 2 up for Calpurnius. And I'll grab number 1 for Aelius. Now, we're starting to hit our normal time limit, folks. We're coming up to 10:30 p.m. local time. I will need to have a unanimous proposal to continue to do the forum phase. You can have a chat amongst yourselves and try and convince one another. But noting we are a little bit later on, we did have an extended Senate session. Can I hear from you guys if you'd like to try and complete a forum phase, noting it's now 22 past the hour?
I think we can do it in half an hour, can't we?
That's fine for me, so depends on what everyone else is.
I've been up for 36 hours. What's another more?
Oh, okay.
As long as we can, if we can knock it off in 30 minutes, we should be all right.
We'll try and be as quick as we can. Is
let's keep
everybody
going,
happy for us to
24
continue?
hours.
No objections? All right, let's quickly do this. Okay, we are now going to enter into the forum phase. We're now going to remove event cards in the forum. So I'm going to get rid of the... I'm going to maintain the trial of Weirus there at the moment. Was that any effects there? Let's see. No, we didn't have any trials of corrupt governance, so that will disappear along with the epidemic. I'm just going to keep the refuge card again for my reference for that continuing saga that is going on there with Philip V. I'll get rid of those 2 events. Okay, and let's do initiatives. Highest ranking available official, which is the dictator, which is back in Rome. Eurdite faction. Let's roll 2d6. Let's see how you go. Eurdite Martaquedia, 2d6. It's coming up on my page, juttering around. It is a 6. You're going to draw a card. So remember, try not to click on the deck. Hover, put a 1 in the box. You guys know the deal. Okay, middle deck is revealed to you. Go ahead and do that.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
You've got it. Perfect. All right. Is it red text or black text?
I'm pretty sure that it's black text. Oh no, here we go.
Have a good look. Take your time.
It's red text.
Red text, you'll keep that private. Nice. We all love a red text card. Okay, would you like to make a persuasion attempt today?
Not today, thank you.
Okay, would you like to raise knights or pressure multiple knights?
Yes, I would like to roll for a night. Please.
You'd like to roll for a knight. Who will be doing that today?
That will be Plateus.
Plateus, all right. He's got no money in the cause, so go ahead and roll a 6 on a 1d6. Unlucky, no knights there. Who will be sponsoring games today?
Julius.
Julius will be sponsoring games today. How much is he putting through? What's he sponsoring?
17. I think it's
Gladiator Gala.
Gladiator Gala, yep.
A Gladiator Gala? What's that? Is that the second or the top one?
Third.
Top one. So that'll cost you 18 talents. So if you'd like to draw out 18 talents from his pool. If I could ask Quintus Octavius if you could reduce the state unrest level, please, by the requisite 3. So go from 5 minus 3 to the state unrest level, please, Quintus Octavius. And perhaps if I could ask Numerius Aurelius if you could add 1 additional popularity to Julius, noting he's now at his maximum. He'd normally get 3. So Julius will go from 8 to 9 popularity. The unrest level for the state is now down to 2, and the 18 talents is now on its way off to the bank. Yay. Very good. Now, will you be looking to change your faction leader today, Martaquedia?
Not today.
Not today. That will conclude your turn. Let's go to the House of Incognita. 2d6, good sir. Good. You get to draw a card too. Let me reveal the deck. You know the deal. Try not to click the deck. Just hover. There you go. Go ahead and draw. Yep, you've got it. Red text or black text?
It's a war.
Oh dear.
It's a war.
Red text.
It is red text. You'll keep that nice and private. Very good. Are you making a persuasion attempt today?
No, I will not be.
Okay, would you like to roll for a knight or pressure multiple knights?
I'll like to roll for a knight.
Who's doing that?
That would be Emilius, and he's not putting any money towards it.
Okay, get a 6 for me. Oh, that was close. Unlucky. Who's sponsoring games today?
Emilius will be sponsoring.
And what's he putting forward?
Level 2.
A level 2, which is costing 13 talents. Go ahead and bank 13 talents from Emilius's card there. And get rid of the rest of that unrest level. So that'll now go down to 0. And then, of course, make sure you get an additional 2 popularity for Emilius as well. Excellent. Will you be changing your faction leader today?
No, I will not be.
Okay, very good. Again, just a reminder, make sure you get that additional 2 popularity for Emilius. And I can see the state unrest level is now already at 0. Perfect. That concludes your initiative. Let's go down to Fortuna's Despair. 2d6, good sir. Let's see how you go. Rolls, it is a 2. You're also getting to draw a card. Okay, usual deal, don't click on the deck. Okay, deck is revealed. Go ahead and draw. Good, you've got it. Is it red text or black text?
It is black.
All right, throw that in the sandpit for us.
Oh, sorry, I've just lost it.
You're right. I think I can see it in your play area. Just take your time. Yep. Perfect. And flip it over. I'll bring it up for everybody so we can have a squiz. It is the Numidian War. It's the second of 3rd Spanish revolts. Now, it's got a question mark. It's saying if Hispania Quiteria is not yet a province treated as inactive. Is that province active yet, ladies and gents?
No.
No.
It is not active. So the way I read this, it is an inactive war, which is lovely. They can sit there right next to the Lusitanian War. Lusitanian. Yeah, oh boy, that's a tongue twister. Lusitanian War, it's going to sit down there as an inactive war.
Correct.
What's that, sorry?
The inactive wards do not count to our total, correct?
They do not count towards your total. That is correct. They do not, which is nice. Okay, let's go and finish your initiative there, Tiberius Cornelius. So, any persuasion attempt from you today?
Yes, I would.
Okay, and who will you be looking to persuade?
I'd like to use a seduction card, please.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead. You can play that now, certainly. Throw that somewhere in your area, perhaps, and I'm just going to bring that up for everybody's reference. We'll have a read. And for the players at home, okay, I'm going to bring this up. Let's have a look at seduction. So it says, for your persuasion attempt on your initiative, make an unopposed persuasion attempt against a non-faction leader senator of your choice. So no talents may be spent to defend against your only persuasion attempt this initiative. So talents already on a target still count and is playable immediately before announcing your target. So you have played that at the perfect time. So let us now announce your target, good sir.
It is Claudius, number 5 of the House of Incognita.
So let's zoom up to Claudius. Yes, Claudius of the House of Incognita. He is a non-faction leader, so he's meeting the prerequisites. That's perfect.
Hell, I'll give him to you
who
for
is
free.
Who is the
Okay, I'll take
persuading
that
senator
seduction
today?
card, I'll take. It is Papyrus.
It is Papirius ID 11. Very good. So let's get some stats from him. First of all, what's his oratory?
His oratory is 2.
Good. And what's his influence?
21.
So that's currently a 23 there. And let's have an assessment of our target. So we're going to see a minus. Claudius's loyalty is 7, plus the alignment modifier, which is what? What is our normal alignment modifier?
7, isn't it?
It is 7. So we're going to see a minus 14 over there so far, and he has no talents on his card, and he and that's all the other stats that we're going to add there. So what is 23 minus 14?
9.
Yep.
Who's good at math?
9.
He
9?
said 9.
So we currently have a number of 9. Now, you still get to bribe Fortuna's Despair. So if Papirius would like to donate any money from his personal treasury to bribe, but then again, when you look at it, you're already at the best number that you can be. So if anything, I would advise that you don't bribe because you want a 9 or less. So that's a nice base number, and it is unopposed. Nobody can make any counter bribe. So let's go ahead and roll a 2d6 and get a 9 or less. And he gets it. We have seen our first successful inter-faction persuasion. So allow me.
Take him. He's weak.
So allow me to move the cards. I can move all the tokens in one go. So everybody relax for just a moment while Claudius packs up his bags and says goodbye to his friends there. Manlius appears to be a little bit upset. Obviously, they were good friends.
Not at all.
All right, slowly making the move. Claudius coming on down, and Elderfelli, he's got his wheelchair. There we go. All right, and that is now in the faction of Fortuna's Despair. So both those factions should update their faction votes and faction influence accordingly. And let's continue on with the initiative step for Fortuna's Despair. So back to our cheat sheet here. Would you like to roll for a knight or pressure multiple knights today?
Yeah, I'd like to do both, actually.
You can do one or the other, I'm pretty sure. I'm just reading it there. I think there's an or in there. Or, yes, it is a massive or. So you can pressure multiple knights or roll for a knight. Which one would you like to do?
I will pressure one of Papyrus's knights.
Okay, so one or more knights can be pressured, and for every knight, it'll be a 1d6. So what we're going to do is we're going to deduct Papirius, one knight from Papirius. So let's do that now, because you're only doing the one.
So, sorry, I can pressure both the knights on it.
You can. Would you like to do that?
Yeah, I'll do both.
Okay, I'll clear your knight's token away for you, and now you're going to roll 2 individual 1d6s, and we'll see how many talents you can get. So the first one is 3, cool, and the next one is a 5. There you go, 5, 6, 7, 8. So grab yourself 8 talents and plop that onto Papirius's card. All right, and noting that has to stay on his card now. That can't be moved until the next revenue phase. So grab 8 talents. And pop that onto Papirius's card. That's good. I think that's the first time we've seen knights pressured. Is that right, folks?
I did it.
Yes.
Earlier.
Oh, you did?
Potatoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody sponsoring games today? Tiberius Cornelius.
Sorry, no.
Okay. Nobody sponsoring games. And finally, any change of faction leader?
No.
No change of faction leader. All right, let's move across. House of Julii. Let's roll 2d6. Let's see how you go. Dice are rolled. It is a 9. You get to draw a card. This is good, folks. I'm going to show the deck. Remember not to click on it. Okay, deck is shown. Go ahead and draw your card. Good, he's got it. Red text or black text?
It is red text.
It is red text. It'll be kept private. Any persuasion attempts today, good sir?
No, there's not.
No, there isn't today. Would you like to roll for a night or pressure multiple nights?
I will be rolling for a night with Fulvius,
Okay.
and he's donating he's putting forward a 5 for that.
5 talents. That'll be an automatic night there. So go ahead and bank that 5 talents and bring yourself back a number 1 night token.
And I'll also be changing my leader to Fulvius.
Let's just ask a question about sponsoring games first.
Oh, sorry. No.
No game sponsored. All right, go ahead and change your faction leader. Yep. All right. That's nice and easy.
I'll leave it on. I'll leave it on.
You are going to leave him? Okay.
For another turn. Yeah.
Not a problem. All right, let's go across to Justia Marita. Let's see if we can continue the good times. 2d6, please, good sir. He gets a 10. Guess what? That is another a card we get to draw from the deck. We're smashing through the deck now. Again, don't click on the deck. Deck is revealed. Go ahead and draw. All right, he's got it. Is it red text or black text?
That looks like red text.
All right, you'll keep that private. That is in your possession now. Are you making a persuasion attempt today?
I will not be making a persuasion attempt.
Okay, rolling for nights or pressuring multiple nights?
I'll be rolling for a night, and it'll be Quintus
Okay,
today.
go ahead and get a 6.
5.
Ooh, close, but no cigar. Okay, anybody sponsoring games? Doesn't look like it. And any faction leader change?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and change your faction
taking
leader.
over as faction leader.
All right, very good. Scrolling up to Pre-Byzantium now. Pre-Byzantium, 2d6. He rolls, he shoots, and he scores. He also gets to draw a card. Well done,
Is this
folks.
the
No
first
events.
round with no events? This might be.
All right,
It is.
revealing the deck. Remember not to click on the deck. Here we go. Deck is revealed. Go ahead and draw. All right, he's got it. Okay, is it red text or black text?
That's a red text card.
Wow, you guys, amazing. Was that no active wars drawn this round, just an inactive? That's fantastic. Going to keep that red text card private, that faction card private. Any persuasion attempts today?
Oh, no, thank you.
All right, and would you like to roll for a night?
Yes, please.
Yes, that is the correct answer. What would you... well, yes, there's no money to be put to the cause, so go ahead and get a 6.
Unlucky.
Unlucky there. No game sponsoring, I see, and you don't have an option to change your faction leader, so no further changes there. Okay, we've completed everybody's individual initiatives. Let's put Rome in order and finish off this forum phase. Everybody holding a major office right now, I'd like you to go ahead and grab your major corruption marker. Just make sure you don't grab a governor corruption. Now, I can help Marca Wedia out here, so I'll do that. But everyone else who's holding a purple token, including Pontifex Maximus and Censor, please go ahead and grab yourself a major corruption marker and place that on your senator's card. So I'm looking at Achilles from Fortuna's Despair will need one. We can remove that pro-consul from Furious. We failed to do that upon his withdrawal in the previous Senate, so I'm going to get rid of that. So Furious does not need one. Okay, we got a bit tardy there. So it's only Pontifex Maximus from Fortuna's Despair. The Censor I see has got one from the House of Julii, very good. Field Consul Quinticus has one, very good. And Master of Horse Cornelius has one as well. Excellent. Next, from here, the Second Punic War is in fact active, as well as Hannibal. We now need to see if any farm concessions are destroyed. So, Marca Wedia, if you could kindly please pull up a 1d6 and roll for the Second Punic War, and we'll see if any farms are destroyed. Rolling. It's a 4. Who's got Tax Farmer 4? That is Alias. Unlucky. I'll remove that to the forum.
Thank you.
Alias from the Eurdite faction loses tax farmer 4. Okay, Marco, if you could roll another 1d6 for Hannibal to see if any other concessions are destroyed. Well, that's got to go to the destroyed section. 4 again. So it's cool. That will be no further changes there. Excellent. All right, now we get to roll for reviving the senators and concessions. Let's start with senators first today. So back to Marco. Let's start with... Oh, my view is all over the place. Let me unmuck my view. There we go. Let's start with Fabius, number 2. The historical Fabius. Go ahead and roll a 1d6. We need a 5 or a 6 to revive him. No, Fabius will stay dead. Valerius, let's do a 5 or a 6. Roll again.
This is a lot of 4s in a row.
Yeah, it is. No, Valerius. And finally, let's do Terentius, who's been there for the longest time. Give me a 5 or a 6.
Okay, I'm going to do a long roll, so hopefully it's not a 4.
Good idea. Yay!
Yeah.
Terentius is revived. Okay, let's do concessions.
Hey,
Let's start with
took
Sicilian
7
or Sicilian grain. Roll a 5 or a 6, please. Yay! All right, and let's see if Tax Farmer 4 is revived. 5 or a 6. Oh, unlucky. That's not bad. We got 1 senator out and one concession back. That's pretty good. We're going to be pretty happy with that.
Marker.
All right, and
wouldn't
all
be
players,
happy
just
with
a
that.
usual note, please update your faction vote tallies and your influence tallies there, and that will now conclude the forum phase and our session for today. That was pretty good, folks. We busted that relatively quickly. Well done. Any other comments from the dictator before we finish our session today?
I'd like to thank everybody for standing behind me as we went forth to battle. And I would like to take a moment to reflect on what a glorious victory that was. And I hope for many more in the next round next week.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
When she says that, I would like to walk out of the room and just leave.
Alrighty. Good
Rest
job,
of
folks.
man.
That completes our mega 10th session. That was amazing. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time because we're going to take a week off next week, as we've discussed. If you're in chat, hang around. We're going to transition. I'll say goodbye to our senators in the background, and I'll give my usual end-of-game summary very shortly. So we'll be right back in about 30 seconds or so. Okay, there we go. Now we are back for our end-of-session summary. At the end of our mega 10th session, we have done 10 sessions already. I am so impressed and amazed, and this group has really grown, haven't they? They've really started to learn more of the rules. They're really starting to engage in that Senate phase, having political debates, making public deals, really starting to think about proposals now. We're starting to see more proposals not only being discussed and considered, but also being voted against, perhaps. And I think the length of the Senate sessions is a really good indicator of how much the players are getting into it, I think, and the lively discussions that come with that. Our Senate sessions now are usually getting up to about an hour in length, if not longer. And look, to their credit, there's certainly been a lot to talk about, of course, with minor things like concession awards and, the awarding of the military medals that we've instigated in our particular sessions here. But the wars themselves really generate a lot of discussion, and they are a critical component of this game, and certainly for these guys here. It'll be interesting for us to investigate in the back end. So what we saw was an interesting flick of some rules here. So they had that, I think it was the New Alliance event card, which allowed that the HRAO at the end of the Senate phase to remove a war and shuffle it into the top 6 cards. Certainly an event that they're very familiar with. They've had it a few times now. Now, with an interesting twist, what they decided to do, there was the imminent war for the Macedonian War. So the third Macedonian War was there in the imminent wars box, first being in active wars box already. Now, normally what the rules stipulate and require is matching wars have to be fought in order. Now, they weren't matching yet per se because one was still imminent. Now, what they decided to do was send a force against the imminent war, which was technically out of order, But when that Senate phase concluded, they used that new alliance event to remove the First Macedonian War out of the way, allowing them to then commit the forces and fight that Third Macedonian War legally. Now, the ordering there, I guess there's some question there as to whether that was truly legal or not. For me, I think I'm happy with that, but we'll investigate in the background, and I'm sure I'll have some discussions with Mr. Alan Richborough, the current Living Rules chief editor, and certainly gauge his opinion as well. And who knows, Poached Trout may also have some thoughts on that in chat too. So that will be interesting to see how that goes down. I was really happy to see their victory against that Macedonian War. Then it would be a shame if they went to that effort to only have lost that war. The odds were certainly in their favour, and they achieved that very well. That put their treasury back in a good balance. But I think what really helped their state treasury there, and of course the unrest level, was the public dealings. And they spent a fair bit of time talking about those public deals, and they were certainly enforced, which is good to see. Good work there by Quintus Octavius on the House of Incognita, keeping everyone honest, and certainly the interpretation of those public deals remains important. But that's, again, put them in good stead. So they've had some victories. They've got reduced wars now. They're back to 2, which is good to see. A healthy state treasury at 117, and the unrest level is at 0. So already we've ebbed and flowed. They've come back into a really good position again. So no doubt the senators will be focusing back politically on themselves and the growth of their factions. So, another amazing session. And what a way to finish off the 10th session too. And as we saw from the scriber who's been keeping notes on all the proposals that come through, the session tonight, they had their 100th proposal put forward in this game, which was a good one on concessions, multiple concessions being proposed there. Worth looking at. I'm going to go look back through that record and see the sorts of proposals that have come through. So good on them for that. Poached Trout just raised, having a look at Rule 1.07.3321 on imminent wars. That may have something about maybe not potentially being able to, attack an imminent war or something. But we'll have a look and see what it looks like in the background. But it's not even if it wasn't permitted, it's not a game breaker for me, and the session will be able to continue going forwards. But we all learn each session that we play. We learn new rules and how they're implemented, or at least the intent of some rules. This is a truly remarkable and complex beast at times, but it really all helps to shape the dynamics, and it's part of the reason why many of us really enjoy it, and why I love to see it played every year. As a part of our Republic of Rome board game broadcast, which is what this is for the 2021 session. So as you would have heard, there's Pharaoh Crab in chat. Hello, Pharaoh Crab. Salve to you. Glad you could pop in as well. So as I alluded to the senators, and just before we at the end of the session there, we are going to take a break next week. We're going to go on a bit of a vacation, give our senators some leave, maybe pop on down to our newly developed province of Sicilia and see the lovely province there. So we're going to take a week's break. So we'll be back in 2 weeks' time, still at the normal time slot on a Monday, which will be 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time for those local on the Eastern Seaboard, or that'll be at 10:30 a.m. Rome time in Monday in 2 weeks' time. Okay, so you won't, unfortunately, get to see myself at this time slot next week, so hopefully not too lonely, but please stay tuned to this channel because we have other streamers coming in, like Poached Trout. Hopefully we'll see Poached Trout over the next week. Or we can see Augustinius with his authentic ancient Roman board games, for example. Or maybe we'll see our new Decimus Claudius as well, perhaps presenting on some Roman literature. So looking forward to all the various other streams on this channel as well. Well, it's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much to our donators and subscribers this chat as well. So George Tanos with the gifted subs, and of course Sempronius Agricola coming in with the bit cheers and the further gifted subs as well. Absolutely amazing, always very much appreciated, and that will continue to help grow Nova Roma both here locally and globally. So that is fantastic. Thank you to everybody in chat over the last hours, and thank you for watching if you're watching on YouTube as well. It's been a blast. It's been the 10th session. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. It's been amazing. Until next time, walete.